Magical Pokémon Urban System. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, Lucky Draw Wheel. Mr. Wang Hao, I can really meet you wherever I go. Do you think you sent someone to follow us? Seeing the smiling old face of Wang Hao Sakaki again, Li Yu felt extremely helpless. Needless to say, Lugia must have been discovered and informed to Wang Hao Sakaki as soon as he arrived at the game base. And Wang Hao Sakaki didn't know why he had to be so attentive and give Li Yu all kinds of help everywhere, as if he was trying to curry favor with him. This was something that Li Yu was very puzzled about. Li Yu felt that, although he inherited the identity of a divine beast master, he was actually just an ordinary trainer, and there was nothing special about him. However, this was also because Li Yu didn't know the special status of a divine beast master, not only because the divine beast master was powerful, but also because of some reasons a long time ago. All the people and families on the continent had a special attitude towards the divine beasts. Let's not talk about these things for now, and return to Li Yu. Since he met Wang Hao Sakaki, Li Yu certainly couldn't ignore him, so he squeezed out a smile and greeted him. What you said? Actually, I just happened to pass by here, and found that you were here too. I just wanted to see if you needed any help. He wanted to explain awkwardly, but Sakaki Wang Hao found that the more he spoke, the more awkward it became, and he could only remain speechless. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Wang Hao. We should go back now, so you don't have to bother me so much. It wasn't that Li Yu deliberately distanced himself from Sakaki Wang Hao. It was because it was getting late, and they were going to go back and rest. Then I'll take you there. It's just on the way, and it's getting late now. With that, Sakaki Wang Hao followed Li Yu and the others directly, without giving him more room for choice. After all, it's come to this point. Do you have the nerve to chase him away? Okay then. I'll trouble you, Mr. Wang Hao. He felt very helpless, but in the end Li Yu could only agree to Sakaki Wang Hao's request, and it didn't matter anyway, so he could follow if he wanted to. Just as Li Yu and his friends were about to leave the game base, a beautiful waitress at the entrance hall suddenly came over and said to them respectfully, "Hello, sir. Since this is your first time to our game base, and you are also our junior member, you can have a free chance to draw a lottery. Do you want to use it?" Li Yu did not expect that this game base had such a setting, and looked at Sakaki Wang Hao with some suspicion. But what he saw was an innocent expression on his face, as if it was none of his business. "Then you sit. Please take us there, thank you." He always had to give him some face on his territory, so Li Yu could only agree reluctantly. "Well, thank you for your cooperation, sir." After thanking him, the beautiful waitress took Li Yu to a machine that looked like a game console. At this time, there was a very large turntable on the screen of the machine. This turntable displayed various items, including elf potions, skill cards, and pictures of several elves. However, the proportions of different items were different. It was obviously a game of luck. It was similar to the big turntable on Earth. You can get the corresponding item by turning to whichever one you turn. But basically, this kind of game is very pitfall. The chance of getting a rare item is very small. You can only get it 8 or 9 times out of 10. Thank you for your patronage. This is the most depressing thing. Li Yu has no interest in this kind of game. He casually clicked the confirmation button, and the big turntable on the big screen began to rotate continuously. He pressed the button again, and the speed of the big turntable gradually slowed down. Various items passed by the pointer in turn, but they passed by each time without any intention of staying. Finally, the big turntable seemed to be running out of follow-ups, and the speed was getting slower and slower. There was no movement at all. In the eyes of everyone who was expecting, the big turntable finally stopped. "Congratulations on winning the purple award, and the reward is a Pokémon. Please put your Pokéball into the machine." A burst of electronic mechanical sound reached everyone's ears, but the final result was surprising. Unexpectedly, Li Yu drew the highest award at once. He looked at Sakaki Wang Hao speechlessly again, and the suspicion in his eyes became stronger. After all, anyone who suddenly has such a great luck will feel unreal. Well, this time it was all your luck. I didn't deliberately tell you anything. Don't think too much about it. Sakaki Prince waved his hands and kept explaining, fearing that Liu would misunderstand that he did it on purpose. It wasn't intentional this time, but it was intentional just now. Although it can be seen from Sakaki Prince's words, expressions, and actions that he did not do it on purpose this time, Liu wanted to tease him. After all, he has been monitored by others, and his movements are recorded and reported to Liu at any time. Although he knows that the other party has no ill intentions, Liu feels a little uncomfortable. Well, Sakaki Prince stared at the sky speechlessly. He really didn't know what to say, so he could only be speechless. Seeing Sakaki Prince's embarrassed look, Liu couldn't continue to tease him. After all, he was already very old. Let Shilinfei take out an empty Pokeball and put it on the machine to receive the Pokémon transmitted. Liu waited quietly on the side, wanting to know what Pokémon the highest level award was. As for why Liu didn't want the self, it has been made clear before. Liu doesn't want to capture any elves now, because there are already enough. Liu plans to train the current elves to a certain level first, and then consider whether to choose to capture other elves. But I saw a flash of light on the machine, and then a few small stars suddenly flashed on the elf ball, which means that this elf ball has captured an elf. Fei, open it and take a look. I'm curious about what kind of elf this is. As one of the highest awards in the game base, I think Mr. Wang Hao will not let us down. In fact, Liu was a little curious in his heart. After all, this is the highest award. The Sakaki family will definitely not take out some garbage items, otherwise they will be scolded to death by others. And even if no one scolds, if this kind of thing is known by other families, how will the Sakaki family behave in front of other families in the future? They have no face. Yes. After agreeing, Shilinfei walked forward and took the Pokeball. She gently pressed the button on the Pokeball, and a cute Pokémon was projected out. This is a new book by a new author. I don't have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 127 New Partner 3D Dragon. The elf that appeared in front of everyone was made up of red and blue blocks. It didn't look like a living organism at all, but a bird made of blocks. Wow. What a cute elf. It's actually a 3D dragon. Shilinfei was instantly conquered by the cute appearance of the 3D dragon, and ran up directly and hugged the 3D dragon floating in the air. Liu smiled slightly and was actually very surprised. Because the 3D dragon is a kind of elf that can only be encountered but not sought, and it cannot be copied. Because it was accidentally born in scientific research. As for the principle of its birth, no one knows it at all. Those researchers have always wanted to thoroughly study how the 3D dragon was produced. But because the 3D dragon is made up of data, it can freely shuttle in the cyberspace without any restrictions. Therefore, most of the 3D dragons that were accidentally produced in the research escaped from the research institute and hid in the huge cyber world, and they could not be caught at all. A small number of 3D dragons were caught when they were born, and because they are very rare, basically no one is willing to take them out. Although after so many years of research, some 3D dragons can be made, but compared with other elves, they are still very rare. Now the Sakaki family actually took out a 3D dragon as a prize, and it was lucky enough to be drawn by Liu. Liu didn't know what to say about his luck. And most importantly, the attributes of this 3D dragon are also very gratifying, which makes Liu very satisfied. Name: 3D dragon attributes, general qualification, legendary level, black iron rank 19th level ability, talent skill, transformation. Your own attributes will become the corresponding attributes of the learned skills. Already enabled, illusion, through the battery wave, affect the opponent's brain to produce hallucinations. Enabled at level 25, pain sharing, share the damage you suffer with the opponent equally. Enabled at level 35, blizzard, summon a violent blizzard today to destroy all enemies. Unlocked at level 45, skills to learn, impact, use your body to hit the opponent with a quick move. Illusion attack, use an illusion to attack the opponent. Self-recovery. The Sky always has the ability to self-recover physical strength and injuries. Charge beam. Gather lightning beams to attack the opponent. Because of the talent of transfiguration, 3D Dragon can be said to be a Pokémon with all attributes to a certain extent. As long as the attributes exist in the skills, he can change them. And after the attributes are changed, the power of the corresponding skills will also be increased, thereby improving his combat effectiveness. It can be said that having such a Pokémon is very helpful for the trainer's future battles and competitions. Mr. is really lucky. This is one of the highest awards. We have only set up 5 highest awards in total. I really admire you for being able to draw it among thousands of awards. The most shocked person must be Sakaki Wanghao, who was standing aside. He witnessed Li Yu's luck with his own eyes. Sakaki Wanghao had never thought of such a result. Although he also wanted to cheat to give Li Yu a favor, he finally gave up the idea. Unexpectedly, in the end, Li Yu actually won one of the highest prizes with his luck. And he just pressed it casually, without any preparation, and the highest prize fell into his hands. Luck, luck. From the words and deeds of Prince Sakaki, Li Yu also knew that this was not intentional, so he was a little proud of his praise. After all, luck is such an illusory thing, and it is hard to explain. Li Yu has bought lottery tickets several times before, but he has never won a prize. Now he is lucky enough to win the highest prize. Anyone would be excited and proud. Li Yu is just an ordinary person, so he is no exception. Okay, since there is nothing else, we will go back. Thank you for the gift from the Sakaki family. When the Sakaki clan leader comes back, please say hello to him for me. Because Prince Sakaki said before that their clan leader needed to go out to do something very important and would not be back for a while. So Li Yu thought that, since he couldn't thank him in person, he could let Prince Sakaki do it for him. Well, I will. Sakaki Wanghao was very satisfied with Li Yu. Although he did not do anything, it was just an accidental achievement, but as long as the result was good, it was fine. After saying goodbye to Sakaki Wanghao, Li Yu and his friends went back to their hotel. It was already past 8 o'clock in the evening, and because they had only been busy playing games before, they had not eaten dinner yet. So when they arrived at the hotel, Li Yu, who was so hungry that he could not stand it, immediately ordered dinner and then started to eat with Shilinfei. After dinner, seeing that it was almost time, Li Yu and Shilinfei went back to their room to sleep. Don't get me wrong, Li Yu and Shilinfei are not sleeping together now. It's just 2 beds in one room. Although their relationship is confirmed and the wedding date is set, Li Yu and his friends are still a little resistant to doing that before marriage. So they can be said to be the 5 good youths of the new era. Don't think too much. The next day, after getting up early, Li Yu and Shilinfei had breakfast casually, and then the two came to the Trainers Guild. Because Li Yu plans to obtain the title of Junior Trainer today, and then challenge the Viridian Gym tomorrow. Because the Pokémon must be recuperated and restored after the battle, Li Yu will divide the challenge into 2 days, and there are also requirements for the Gym Battle League. Junior trainers can only get 3 badges, intermediate trainers can only get 5 badges, and advanced trainers can get 8 badges. However, as long as you reach the advanced trainer level, you can have 8 badges and participate in various leagues. But advanced trainers are only more than 30 levels at most. Even if they participate in various competitions, they will definitely be eliminated directly, and they will not get any results, and will be useless. Walking into the Tall Trainer Guild's residence, Li Yu saw countless staff members working back and forth, and many trainers were nervously preparing for the upcoming assessment challenge. However, Li Yu didn't feel anything about the battle, and he was not nervous at all. But he also understood the feelings of those people. This was just like when he took the college entrance examination. It was inevitable to be nervous for the first formal assessment. Arriving at the service window, Li Yu filled in his information, then found a seat at random, and sat there with Shilinfei, waiting quietly. Although there are many examiners in the Trainers Guild, they cannot afford so many trainers who need to be examined every day, so it is reasonable to wait. Not long after, Li Yu's Pokémon book received the news that the examination could be carried out. Li Yu quickly got up and took Shilinfei to the designated examination area. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. Chapter 128 Level Assessment Yulong Mochan. Hello, I'm your examiner this time. My name is Yulong Mochan, and I'm a genius from the Yulong clan. I believe you will remember this name clearly after today. I hope you can pass my test. The young man who claimed to be Yulong Mochan was wearing a gorgeous purple gold costume with a dragon pattern embroidered on it. He stared at Liu with evil eyes. His expression seemed to be smiling and sarcastic, and even the words he said were inexplicable. I don't know what it means. HMM. Hello, when can my test start? Please don't waste time. I don't know why, but this young man in front of me is targeting me everywhere, as if I had robbed him of something, and owed him millions. Liu was also very upset. He has always been kind to people, and has never taken the initiative to provoke others, but this time he was really angry. After all, he was inexplicably targeted, and even his words were weird, so Liu's answer was also cold and emotionless. HMPH. This test is very simple. As long as you can defeat one of my Pokémon, you can pass. If you can't, it only proves that you are too useless. Not suitable. Yulong Mochan snorted coldly, but the test conditions he said immediately made Liu frown. According to the introduction of Sakaki Wanghao, in order to pass the junior trainer's test, you only need to defeat the examiner's 6 Pokémon of equal strength, and then you can get the junior trainer badge. But the young man in front of him, who was very arrogant when he appeared, said that you only need to defeat one Pokémon. In this regard, Liu did not believe that Yulong Mochan was thinking about him, and he must have bad intentions. Well, let's start. With his brows furrowed, Liu actually wanted to give up this test, or change another examiner. But deep down, Liu did not want to leave like this. Because if he left like this, Liu felt as if he was running away, especially when he saw Yulong Mochan's arrogant and contemptuous eyes, which made him even more unable to leave like this. Release your Pokémon. As long as you can defeat him, you can pass the test. With a flick of his hand, a Pokéball appeared in the air, and then a dragon-shaped Pokémon with a ferocious face appeared in the field. This Pokémon looked like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, with a metallic lower body and a dark green upper body. The most eye-catching thing was that it had a sharp axe fang growing out of its mouth, like a giant axe. This Pokémon was a very powerful and rare axe-toothed dragon among the dragon Pokémon. This kind of Pokémon was generally owned by the dragon family, which also proved that Yulong Mochan was indeed a member of the Yulong family. But this was not what Liu cared about. Who the other party was, and what his identity was, had nothing to do with him. He only cared about the strength level of this axe-toothed dragon, which was not something Liu could defeat at the moment. Name: Axe-toothed dragon. Attributes: Dragon qualification, epic level, silver rank. 38 abilities, talented skills, power attack plus iron tail plus brute force. Learning skills: double chop plus dragon wave plus blade back strike plus dragon dance plus dragon scale fury. This axe-toothed dragon is at level 38. And his attributes are also very strong. Looking at his hard armor and sharp claws, he is obviously very good at fighting. Liu doesn't believe that Yulong Mochan will suppress his strength to fight him during the battle, so for a while he didn't know what to do. After all, he can't beat him. Even if all the elves are released, the suppression of 2 levels is simply impossible to break through, and cannot be defeated. Of course, Liu can also choose to release Zyoshan, and he will definitely be able to defeat the axe-toothed dragon. But the opponent has only 1 elf at level 38, so he will definitely have more higher level elves. The most important thing is that Zyoshan is not an elf from this world, but Liu brought it from Earth. He can't show up easily, otherwise it will definitely attract the attention of others, and cause unnecessary trouble. What? Are you scared? Can't you even beat a Pokémon? Then how about I replace you with a Magikarp? Just when Liu didn't know what to do, Yulong Mochan's annoying voice came again, still with that kind of disdainful and very contemptuous attitude. Humph. Liu was indeed not as strong as others, so he couldn't say anything, but for Yulong Mochan's arrogant attitude, Liu wanted to rush up and beat him up. But in the end, Liu gave up this idea, snorted coldly, and prepared to leave. At this moment, a middle-aged man with extraordinary momentum suddenly appeared in the field. He smiled apologetically at Liu, and then said coldly to Yulong Mochen, "Yulong Mochen, don't think that I dare not do anything to you, just because you are a member of the Yulong clan. You dare to maliciously disrupt the normal assessment order of the Alliance, even if your father comes in person." But before the middle-aged man finished speaking, Yulong Mochen immediately interrupted arrogantly, "Isn't it just a punishment? I don't care about the so-called rewards at all. I tell you, even the least talented people in my dragon clan would disdain these rubbish rewards." Yulong Mochen tore off the examiner badge on his chest and threw it on the ground casually. Then he looked at Liu coldly again and mocked, "I really don't know what those people are thinking. They actually passed the position of the Beast Master to you. With your strength as a scumbag, you are not even worthy of doing odd jobs in my dragon clan." After that, Yulong Mochen looked at the people on the field with disdain, and then walked out of the assessment venue directly. He felt extremely depressed, especially when he saw Yulong Mochen's expression, which was like looking at an ant, and heard his condescending tone. His heart seemed to be pressed by a huge rock. He was speechless for a long time. Even Shilin Fui, who was standing beside him, did not say much after feeling the anger emanating from him, but just looked at Liu with concern. The middle-aged man had a cold face, looking at the direction where Yulong Mochen left, with anger surging in his eyes, but he did not take any action. After a long time, Liu finally calmed down and took a deep breath, then turned to look at Shilin Fui with a concerned face, smiled slightly, indicating that he was fine now. "Hello, sir. Thank you for helping me out. What should I call you?" Looking at the middle-aged man standing aside, Liu walked up and asked lightly. "Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please comment please. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129 Level Assessment. After what happened just now, he understood a truth. That is, a good horse is ridden by others, and a good person is bullied by others. And more importantly, you can't hesitate or be timid in doing anything. Just like before, Liu felt that he should release Zyoshan directly and not indulge Yulong Mochen's arrogance. As for the troubles in the future, Liu didn't believe that anyone would dare to trouble him. Just based on the attitude of the Bamu family and the Damu family towards him, with his identity as a divine beast master, there would definitely not be many people who dared to provoke him. And most importantly, Liu has a system. Even if there is trouble, the worst thing is to leave directly. Liu doesn't believe that he can't become strong after leaving the magical continent. This is the character that a strong man should have, not afraid of any challenge, not afraid of any difficulties. Immortal cultivators are not afraid of even the heavenly tribulation. So what is the trouble that Liu encountered? For various reasons, Liu finally understood the pursuit and persistence of immortal cultivators and possessed a special temperament. Although it is just a prototype, Liu believes that his identity in the future will definitely be extraordinary. Hello Mr. Lee, I'm the president of the Trainer Guild of Viridian City. My name is Mufeng, and I'm a member of the Grass Clan of the Three Great Masters. I'm very sorry for what happened today. I didn't expect that guy Yulong Mochen would dare to cause trouble for you privately. I hope you don't mind. Mr. Lee should be here to assess your level. I haven't fought for a long time. Why don't you let me be your examiner and let me experience your strength? Mufeng is very good at speaking. He first apologized to Liu for what happened just now, and then proposed to personally assess Liu's level. This was not abrupt, and showed great respect for Liu. Well, then I'll trouble Mr. Mufeng. I also hope that Mr. Mufeng will show mercy, and don't let me lose too badly. Nodding, it was considered to agree with his idea, and finally Liu joked. In a short conversation, Liu agreed with Mufeng. Because although Mufeng was deeply sorry for the previous accident, he did not propose any idea of opening a back door, even though he respected Liu's identity. From this, it can be seen that Mufeng is a meticulous and upright person. Liu is willing to make friends with such people because he will not worry about being stabbed in the back. Hahaha, Mr. Lee, you are joking. The Pokémon I use must be the same as yours. After saying some inexplicable words, Mufeng walked to the machine beside him. After operating it for a while, 6 Pokeballs appeared in his hands. Let's get started. As long as you can defeat my 6 Pokémon, you can pass this level assessment and get the title of Junior Trainer. Mufeng's identity suddenly changed to an examiner. He changed his previous respectful expression and looked at Liu seriously. Well, I will definitely defeat you. I hope you can go all out. By saying this, Liu was both cheering himself up and showing the other party that he didn't want him to let him go. Without any extra words, Mufeng just looked at Liu in a serious manner. No matter what level of trainer he met, he had to go all out. This is the basic principle that every strong person should have, and Liu didn't need to remind him at all. Come out, Charmander. That's right, the first Pokémon Liu used was his initial Pokémon Charmander. Sure. He casually took out a Pokéball and threw it into the air, and then a brown figure appeared in the field. It was Geodude. Pokémon. Geodude attributes: Rock plus Ground qualification, Gold level, Black Iron level 15 abilities, Innate skills, Brute Force. The rest are not activated. Learning skills: Impact plus Playing in the Mud plus Crazy Rolling plus Rock Polishing. Very mediocre attributes, not as powerful and abnormal as Liu imagined. He thought Mufeng would use very powerful Pokémon and then suppress his strength to fight him. But the facts proved that Liu was wrong. Although Mufeng's strength is very strong, it does not mean that he does not have low-level Pokémon. Moreover, the assessment of junior trainers is originally very simple, because this level is the first formal assessment for trainers who have just entered the adventure journey. In order to assess the true strength of trainers, and not to undermine their self-confidence. Therefore, the Pokémon used by gym owners are generally common level 15, and they are also very ordinary Pokémon. Because most trainers do not have that kind of luck against the sky, and do not have a deep background, so generally they use ordinary, very common Pokémon. Therefore, if the examiner uses very rare Pokémon with very strong talents when assessing the level, it is really unfair to those ordinary trainers. Without further ado, the battle begins. Because Charmander is a fire type Pokémon and Geodude is a rock type and ground type Pokémon, Charmander is completely restrained by Geodude. To win this battle, Charmander can only rely on the 3 skills of Metal Claw, Shoulder Throw and Dragon's Fury, because only the attributes of these 2 skills will not be restrained by Geodude. Charmander, Howl, Metal Claw. Seizing the initiative, Liu directly ordered Charmander to increase its attack by howling, and then the Metal Claw directly grabbed Geodude. Geodude, Crazy Rolling. With a concise and clear command, Mufeng directly ordered Geodude to attack as well, facing Charmander's Metal Claw. Kai. Bang. Geodude shrank into a stone ball and rushed towards Charmander in a crazy rotation. Under the fierce collision, Charmander's Metal Claw was actually bounced off and blocked by Geodude's rapid rotation. Geodude continued to attack and directly hit Charmander's chest. With a bang, Charmander was knocked away and Geodude stopped. Roar. Alloy. Overhand throw. Charmander stood up and roared and sent out his alloy claws again, rushing towards Geodude with great momentum. Just as Geodude was about to use the same trick again, Charmander suddenly changed his tactics and grabbed Geodude's hands directly and threw him overhand, slamming him to the ground violently. Bang, bang, bang. Just as Geodude was dizzy from hitting the ground, Charmander threw him into the air again and slammed him to the ground continuously. However, Charmander stopped using the overhand throw skill after only 3 times because he was exhausted. Geodude is a rock type Pokémon, and although his strength is relatively low, he weighs more than 100 pounds. In comparison, Charmander only weighs 40 to 50 pounds, so with his physical strength, it was already a stretch to use overhand throw on Geodude 3 times in a row. New author, new book. I don't have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 130 Fierce Battle. Huff, huff, huff. Exhaling deeply, Charmander stood tiredly by the side, watching the unconscious Geodude, with a joyful expression on his face. Without saying anything more, Mewfeng directly put the unconscious Geodude back into the Pokeball, and then released another Pokémon. This Pokémon was all green, and looked a bit like a frog, but there was a green flower bud on its back. With two cute big eyes, it observed the surrounding situation. Well, Bulbasaur, in that case. Charmander, you've worked hard, come back. Seeing that Mewfeng had replaced a grass-type Pokémon, Liu was relieved to know that Charmander's fire-type could restrain him, but he simply disdained to do so. Moreover, Charmander had little physical strength after the previous battle, and Liu didn't want to let Charmander continue to fight. So he took Charmander back and replaced it with a new Pokémon. Butterfree, it's up to you next. That's right, Liu's second Pokémon was Butterfree. Although Butterfree may not be as good as Bulbasaur in attack, Butterfree has the talent that he is good at, that is, various abnormal states. Pokémon, Bulbasaur attributes, Grass plus Poison qualification, Gold level, Black Iron level 15 ability, Talented skill, Flower Dance, the rest are not yet activated. Learning skills, Slam plus Whip plus Poison Powder plus Parasitic Seed. Although Bulbasaur is a grass and poison type, it is directly immune to Sleep Powder and Poison Powder. But Butterfree also has the skill of Paralysis Powder. And more importantly, Butterfree also has the two skills of Insect Chirping and Whirlwind. The Insect type and Flying type can completely restrain Bulbasaur's Grass type. Bulbasaur, use Poison Powder, Flower Dance. As soon as Butterfree appeared, Mewfeng commanded Bulbasaur to attack without hesitation. The green poisonous fog spread towards the field, spreading continuously, gradually covering Butterfree's body, completely restraining his movements. Just as Butterfree was using a whirlwind to expel the poisonous fog, Bulbasaur suddenly danced in a mysterious dance, and his aura continued to grow. Butterfree, speed up, expel the poisonous fog, and then use the insect song. Seeing that Bulbasaur's strength was constantly increasing, Liu secretly thought that it was not good, and quickly commanded Butterfree to prepare for a counterattack. But, after finally dispelling the poisonous fog, Butterfree immediately vibrated her wings at a strange frequency. The sound of the wings vibrating seemed to carry a strange fluctuation. Although it seemed non-aggressive, it made people feel depressed. Wow. Feeling the fluctuation of this sound, Bulbasaur directly covered his ears in pain, looking very uncomfortable. Good opportunity, Butterfree, Whirlwind. Seeing that the opportunity to counterattack finally came, Liu directly commanded Butterfree to use the Whirlwind skill. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a strong wind suddenly blew on the field, and the fierce wind continued to gather into a rotating sharp blade, and then slashed towards Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, get out of the way. Mewfeng hurriedly shouted to Bulbasaur, trying to avoid Butterfree's attack. Wow. Vine Whip. Enduring the mental pain, Bulbasaur directly summoned a Vine Whip, and swung it violently on the ground. With the help of the reaction force given by the ground, Bulbasaur's body flew directly into the air and narrowly avoided the attack of the whirlwind. Swish. But before Bulbasaur fell from the air, the whirlwind suddenly turned around and attacked again. This time, Bulbasaur, who had nowhere to rely on, was directly swept into the whirlwind, and the high-speed rotating whirlwind made Bulbasaur dizzy. Wow. After finally landing on the ground, the dizzy Bulbasaur floated and swayed a few times, but finally failed to stand, and fainted on the ground. Delby. Still silent, without any extra words, Mewfeng directly replaced the new Pokémon, Delby. Delby is a Pokémon with fire and evil. The whole body is black, with a circle of grey-white hair on the back, head and forelegs, revealing two canine teeth, looking at the opponent ferociously. Ugh. As soon as he appeared, Delby roared at Butterfree flying in the air. Come back, Butterfree. Liu also took back the elves, and replaced them with a new elf, Scythe. Elf, Delby attributes, Dark plus Fire qualification, Gold level, Black Iron level 15 ability, innate skills, Rage. The more attacks you receive, the higher the increase in strength. The rest are not activated. Learning skills, Sparks plus Mist plus Bite plus Stare plus Impact. Delby's attributes show that he is very good at fighting, so Liu also sent out a fighting type of elf, Scythe. Dalubi missed. Dalubi attacked first again, and a large amount of black smoke spewed out of his mouth, blocking the entire field of vision. And Mufeng seemed to have something else that he didn't say, but a tacit instruction that only Dalubi and him could understand. Scythe, be careful around you. But before Liu could tell Scythe to be careful, the sound of a sudden collision reached his ears. Because there was no way to dispel the thick fog, Liu did not dare to command Scythe casually, for fear of making a mistake in command. Therefore, Liu could only anxiously wait for the result, hoping that Scythe could show its strength. But in such an unfavorable battle on this field, Dalubi must have the advantage. After all, he is a dark Pokémon. Bang, bang. Fierce collisions sounded one after another, and occasionally there would be flashes of fire. It was obvious that Dalubi was constantly harassing Scythe in the black fog, fighting and retreating, and not fighting him head on. Clang, blade attack, roar, sparks. With two loud roars, the whole field suddenly became silent, without any movement. But suddenly, the black fog slowly dissipated, and the scene in the black fog finally appeared in front of everyone. Scythe was in an attacking posture, while Dalubi was standing opposite him. All around him were traces of fierce fighting. Fly. Before Liu could say anything, Scythe fell to the ground and was unconscious. The result of the battle was self-evident. Scythe, come back. Liu felt a little guilty this time, because his command was not good, so he directly entered Dalubi's attack rhythm. Scythe had not been trained to fight in the dark, so he was always in a passive defensive state, and could not exert his full strength to 70%. Dalubi was a dark elf, and had the skill of black fog, so he was very good at fighting in black fog. With one side gaining, and the other side losing, it was not surprising that Scythe lost the game. But Liu still felt uncomfortable. After all, Scythe could actually be upgraded. It was just that, because he had not yet exerted his full strength, he entered a disadvantageous period. Being in the black fog, Scythe's eyes were directly disabled, and he could only fight by feeling. It was not surprising that he lost the battle. Newcomer and new book. The author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend. Please review. Please do anything. Chapter 131. Continuous hard fight. Thank you for your hard work, Scythe. Come back and have a rest. Liu reluctantly took Scythe back. After thinking for a moment, he took out a Pokeball and threw it out. Tap. As soon as Water Otter came out, he looked at Liu very happily. He hadn't fought with Liu for so long. Although they had been together during training, they had never fought in a real battle. So Water Otter was very happy to fight side by side with Liu this time. Let's start. Water Otter, Dragon Scale Blade. Liu took a deep breath and suddenly looked serious and really serious. Swish, swish, swish. Buzz. Water Otter took the two dragon scales on his chest in his hands and waved them casually twice. Suddenly, the water energy formed two energy swords through the dragon scales and also made a buzzing sound of cutting the air. Tap. Water Otter roared directly, waving the dragon scale energy sword, and rushed towards Dalubi quickly. Dalubi, bite. Mufeng's voice sounded without any fluctuations, and Dalubi also reacted quickly, roaring directly and rushing towards Water Otter. Shua shua shua. Kai. When the brave meet on a narrow road, the Water Otter and Dalubi collided directly. Water Otter's energy swords were swung quickly, cutting Dalubi's body repeatedly, and blood kept flowing out. Dalubi also bit Water Otter's arm directly. The paralysis attached to the skill and the pain of the bitten muscles continuously stimulated Water Otter's spirit. Roar. Both sides were injured, roared, and separated directly in the collision, standing separately. Water Otter, Water Gun. For fire elves, water skills are completely restraining. Since there are convenient skills, why not use them? Dalubi, get out of the way. Mufeng was about to command Dalubi to dodge, but before he could finish, Dalubi was directly hit by the water gun. What? The speed of this water gun. With Mufeng's gym level strength, he quickly figured out what was going on. It turned out that after Liu's guidance, the speed at which Water Otter gathered water energy increased greatly, thus making the skill more powerful. Therefore, Mufeng's miscalculation of the water gun skill caused Dalubi to not react at all. Although he could have dealt with it with his strength, he was not prepared at all and could not react for a while because he was hit by the water gun. Daluba's physical strength was greatly consumed due to the previous continuous battle, and he was hit by the water gun just now. Water overcomes fire, and with the double attack, he lost his combat effectiveness directly. Liu, I didn't expect that water otter was trained so well by you. His control over water energy is comparable to the evolved form of double-edged Meru. Mufeng, who had been expressionless and silent, finally praised him at this moment because of his surprise. Haha, nothing. Hearing Mufeng's praise, Liu smiled slightly, without any ripples in his heart. Well, keep fighting. My next Pokémon is him. Mufeng said, and a Pokéball was thrown into the air, and then a purple shell with a big tongue appeared on the field. Pokémon, Shelder attributes, water qualification, gold level, black iron level 15 abilities, innate skills, obstacle, every time you are attacked, you will automatically weaken the opponent's attack. The rest are not enabled. Learning skills, Ice Needle plus Water Gun plus Shell Shrinkage plus Ultrasonic Shelder is also a water Pokémon, but it is good at defense, not attack. Liu was very curious about how Mufeng would fight. Water Otter, Dragon Scale Blade. However, it is precisely because they are both water Pokémon that Water Otter's skills are basically useless, and they can only fight with Dragon Scale Blade. Shelder, Ultrasonic. Mufeng did not have any idea of defending, but instead attacked back. But the invisible sound waves vibrated on the field, and after continuous reflection, the speed became faster and faster. Buzz buzz buzz. Finally, after accumulating to a certain extent, the ultrasonic wave burst out. The sonic attack landed on the rushing water otter, just like a heavy hammer hitting the head. The water otter felt dizzy and weightless. Very good, Shelder. Continuous ice needles. Swish, swish, swish. As soon as Mufeng's command fell, countless tiny ice needles appeared out of thin air in front of Shelder, and then shot at the dizzy water otter. Water otter, be careful, wake up. Seeing that the water otter was dizzy, and had no way to dodge the upcoming attack, Liu shouted loudly. Tap. The confused water otter, upon hearing Liu's loud shout, shuddered all over, and woke up suddenly. Tap. Seeing that the ice needles were approaching, the water otter hurriedly used dragon scales to resist. But the ice needles were like rain, all over the sky, and it was impossible to defend them all. The tiny ice needles shot directly into the water otter's chest, and the painful feeling was like countless ants devouring your body. Water otter, hold on. Dragon scale blade. Use the technique I taught you. Although Ice Needle is an ice skill, it only does half the damage to Water Otter, but the pain is not so easy to bear. Tap. The endless pain made Water Otter roar, and his momentum continued to rise. Then he ran quickly, waving the dragon scale energy sword in his hand. Sure sure. At the moment when the two elves passed by each other, the dragon scale blade in Water Otter's hand turned around, and cut directly into the shell of Shelder. Kai. Just like cutting tofu, Shelder's hard iron shell was actually cut directly into a crack. Berry. The defense was completely broken, and Shelder's painful cry reached Mufeng's ears. Knowing that if Shelder didn't die, he would be disabled, so Mufeng gave up directly. He took out the Pokémon potion, and gave it to Shelder to drink, and then Mufeng took it back into the Pokéball. Then he looked at Liu again, and released a new Pokémon. Throat. This elf looks very strange, like a monkey and a pig, with white hair all over the body, and a little brown on the limbs and tail. Although the monkey monster doesn't look good, it is very powerful. As a fighting elf, it is naturally good at fighting. Monkey monster, grab like crazy, kick down. Under the command of Mufeng, the monkey monster directly waved its claws to grab the water otter, and just when the water otter was ready for close combat, Mufeng suddenly changed his tactics, and changed to a powerful kickdown, that is, a sweeping kick. Although the monkey monster reacted a little slowly, the water otter and Liu reacted even slower. Bang, bang. Without any defense, the water otter's legs were directly twisted by the powerful kick, and then the body fell heavily to the ground in mid-air. Throw it on the earth. Mufeng said lightly. Newcomer and new book, the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please ask for all kinds of requests. Chapter 130 To the final battle, Xiaobai appears. Throat. Throw it on the earth. Just as the water otter was lying on the ground in pain, the monkey monster approached again, grabbed the water otter with his powerful hands, and then threw it into the sky with all his strength. Bang! Without any room for resistance, the water otter was thrown into the sky and then fell heavily to the ground again, making a booming sound. Water otter. Liu didn't react to this series of changes at all. In other words, he couldn't resist at all and had no chance to fight back. Sorry, I made a mistake. Liu thought that the main reason for misjudging the monkey monster's strength was himself. Liu was very depressed after making mistakes again and again. But Liu forgot that the opponent was a gym-level strongman, and his experience and mentality in fighting were far beyond his reach. It's up to you, Zorok. We must win. Looking at Zorok, who had just come out, he obviously didn't know the severity of the current situation, and his face was still full of excitement. Yeah, we will definitely win. Feeling the persistence in Liu's tone, although Zorok still didn't understand that kind of emotion, he responded with full confidence. Zorok, claws. As Liu's voice fell, Zorok's figure kept running on the field. The agile figure moved quickly, making it difficult to catch. Throat. Being a little impatient with Zorok's turning, the monkey monster rushed directly towards Zorok, waving his fist and hitting Zorok. Ah. Sure. Zorok's claws directly dodged the monkey monster's fist, leaving 3 clearly visible scars on his body. Sure. Turning again, the petite Zorok passed directly under the monkey monster, and then the claws grabbed the monkey monster's chest again. Throat. The monkey monster roared and stretched out his hands to grab Zorok. But in the end, he was still a step too slow, allowing Zorok to escape again. Monkey, retreat. Keep your distance. Seeing that if this continued, Monkey would definitely be exhausted by Zorok, Mu Feng shouted hurriedly. Zorok, catch up. After finally finding the rhythm of the battle, Liu didn't want to give up, so he immediately let Zorok take advantage of the victory to pursue. HMPH. You fell into the trap. Earth throw. Mu Feng laughed secretly and suddenly said to the monkey, what? Be careful. Hearing Mu Feng's sudden words, Liu was shocked and wanted to warn Zorok. Ah. Or thousand changes. Just when the monkey was about to catch Zorok, Zorok's appearance suddenly changed and became exactly the same as the monkey. Throat. The monkey's brain was obviously not able to react to the sudden appearance of its kind, and its movements were a little slow. By the time he reacted, he had already lost the opportunity. Throat. Earth throw. Zorok, who turned into a monkey, roared and used the same trick directly. He grabbed the monkey monster's hands with both hands, and then swung them violently. Although he was a little weak in the middle, he still threw the monkey monster into the sky. Ah. Mu Feng felt helpless. He didn't expect Zorok's speed to be so fast. The opportunity he finally caught slipped away in vain, and he was also hit back. Very good, Zorok. Use the chase. One family was happy and the other was sad. Liu was very happy and quickly commanded Zorok to pursue the victory. Ah. Zorok turned around and returned to his original appearance, then waved his claws and grabbed the monkey monster in the air. Opportunity. Monkey monster. Throw down from the earth. Mu Feng shouted without hesitation with his eyes lit up. What? Liu was stunned. Damn, he could still fight back even in this situation. Throat. Although there was no place to borrow strength in the air, it did not affect the monkey monster's grabbing of Zorok. The monkey monster just grabbed Zorok with both hands, and Zorok was tightly caught. Then the monkey monster roared, pressed Zorok under him, and quickly crashed to the ground. Boom. The violent collision raised a cloud of dust, but it soon dissipated, revealing the situation inside. Ah. Throat. Zorok and the monkey monster fainted on the field at the same time. Liu was very surprised at the result, but after thinking about it, Liu understood the reason. Zorok was knocked unconscious because of insufficient defense, and the monkey monster was hit continuously. In addition to the violent collision just now, he also lost his combat effectiveness. Although the monkey monster did not hit the ground directly, the violent recoil force was not something he could withstand. So it is understandable that he fainted and lost his combat effectiveness at the same time. Haha, Liu, as long as you defeat my last elf, you can pass this assessment. But my last trump card is not so easy to defeat. Mu Feng said to Liu with a Pokeball in his hand. I will win. Without any extra words, Liu just held the Pokeball and said lightly, let's start. After saying that, Liu took the lead in throwing the Pokeball and then saw a very cute white tiger appear on the field. Mu Feng's Pokémon is a cute little Tyrannosaurus Rex, but on the head of this little Tyrannosaurus Rex, there is a dragon skull as a mask. This Pokémon is Karakara, wearing a bone mask on his head. It is said that it is the skull left after its mother died, but no one knows the details. Wearing a skull mask, Karakara can only see his eyes, and he holds a bone in his hand as a weapon. Xiaobei, it's up to you next, come on. Liu was very confident that he could win when Xiaobei appeared. That's right, the last Pokémon Liu used was Xiaobei. As for why Xiaobei was used to fight, it was because Liu had no choice. Because Cassie finally entered the evolution state, he fell into a deep sleep and could not fight at all. And Iron Dumbbell was too low in level to be entrusted with important tasks. As for letting Xiaoshan play, it would be bullying him, so he could only rely on Xiaobei. As for whether he was worried about being noticed, Liu said he was not worried at all. The magical continent is so huge that it is not surprising that some elves that have never been seen before appear. After all, elves are discovered one by one and then recorded in books. Even if new elves appear, people will only think that Liu is lucky. And even if they are discovered, it doesn't matter. At most, they can just leave and go back to Earth. Anyway, since he figured it out, Liu has no scruples in his heart. Huh. Liu, your elf seems to be different. Why have I never seen it before? Sure enough, when he saw Xiaobei, Mu Feng was immediately shocked. Because with his strength and status, he couldn't recognize what kind of elf Xiaobei was. Thinking about that possibility in his mind, but Mu Feng was not sure, so he quickly asked, wanting to hear a confirmed answer. Newcomer and new book, the author does not have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please ask. Chapter 133 Xiaobei's first battle another world. HMM. What? You are talking about Xiaobei? He is an elf I met by accident, and I don't know where he came from. But when I first met him, he was still very small, as if he had just been born. So I don't remember anything about his past. Since then, the two of us have become partners and lived together. So many years have passed, and since I started my adventure, he has been following me. Thinking to himself that it was as expected, Liu said the words he had thought of long ago without any haste, and there was no strange expression on his face. Oh, well, this kind of thing has also happened, and it is not impossible. But your luck is really good. I really envy you very much. After listening to Liu's explanation, Mu Feng paused thoughtfully, and then smiled, and said to Liu enviously, Liu smiled slightly, without any expression. It would be useless to say more, so it would be better to remain silent. Hey, by the way, what does Mr. Mu mean when he said that this kind of thing has also happened? Could it be? But suddenly thinking of a point in Mu Feng's words, Liu suddenly asked. Yes, that's right. In fact, although this kind of thing is very rare, it has happened many times. It's just that, because of the blockade of the Alliance, it has never been known to ordinary people. Nowadays, there are many strange elves in the Alliance. They have strange abilities and strange looks. They are the focus of research of the Alliance. After saying this, Mu Feng seemed to be considering whether to continue, but finally decided to tell Liu everything. Forget it, I'll tell you everything. Anyway, with your identity, you will know these things sooner or later, but I don't know much. It is said that the Alliance once discovered a world like a mirage above the endless sea, which was foggy and unclear. The Alliance tried every possible means, and finally sent a king-level trainer into that world. However, after only 1 minute in, for some unknown reason, the king-level trainer was suddenly and defenselessly expelled. However, according to the king-level trainer, there seemed to be many very strange and very powerful elves living in that illusory world. However, before he could check it carefully, he was directly expelled from that world by a mysterious energy. Of course, I only heard about these things. After all, with my identity, I'm not enough to touch the secrets of these alliances. And the alliance seems to be very taboo about this matter and is not allowed to discuss these things, so this is all I know. After Mufeng finished saying all he knew, he was also full of emotion in his heart. For the unknown and mysterious world, as well as those powerful and magical elves, every trainer would have a desire. Well, thank you Mr. Mew for telling me all this. Let's get back to the topic. Seeing that the topic was getting farther and farther away, although Liu was also very curious about the so-called unknown world. After all, the unknown is always the most attractive. But these things are too far away from him, and his current strength is not enough to touch these things. Well, let's start. Nodding, Mufeng's state changed instantly. Xiao Bei, Thunder Shadow Flash, Golden Thunder Spear. The battle started again. After looking at Korakora's attributes, Liu directly ordered, Elf, Korakora attributes, Ground qualification, Gold level, Black Iron level 15 ability, Talented skills, Prerequisite, a certain probability of completely resisting the opponent's attack. Continuous use will reduce the probability. The rest are not activated. Learning skills. Guard plus bone boomerang plus bone stick plus head hammer stare plus concentrated slash seeing. That it was another probability based ability. Liu was a little scared. Because these skills are too weird and don't follow common sense at all. If you accidentally trigger them, you will definitely suffer. However, Liu was still very confident about Xiao Bei. After all, Xiao Bei was a divine beast. Although his level was low, Liu didn't believe that he couldn't defeat an elf of the same level. Raw. With every step Xiao Bei took, lightning would appear under his feet. As his figure flashed, a lightning spear would condense and shoot towards Korakora. Korakora, bone boomerang. Mufeng was also very cautious about the mysterious and unknown Xiao Bei. He didn't choose to confront him head on, but tried it out first. Swish. Korakora threw the bone stick in his hand directly, spinning quickly towards the lightning spear. Bang. The bone stick and the lightning spear collided with each other, but were directly knocked away because of insufficient power. But the bone stick seemed to have a spirit, and it actually spun back into Korakora's hand. Korakora, gather energy and cut. Seeing that the lightning spear's power did not decrease and continued to shoot towards Korakora, Mufeng hurriedly commanded, Buzz. He raised the bone stick in his hand, and the energy gradually condensed on it, forming an energy phantom of a bone blade, and then directly chopped on the lightning spear. Bang! The violent impact instantly threw Korakora away, but he was not injured at all. After turning around twice, he landed steadily on the ground. Bone stick. Korakora's bone stick was like a golden hoop stick, and he played a lot of tricks in his hand. Swish, swish. Waving the bone stick, Korakora specifically hit Xiao Bei's body. Obviously, he also saw the weakness of Xiao Bei's defense. Copperhead iron arms, tofu waist. This is the characteristic of all cats like Xiao Bei. If you get hit, you will definitely not be able to stand up in a short time. Swish, swish, swish. Before Xiao Bei transformed, his body was very small, only the size of a kitten, and he easily dodged the attack of the bone stick. Raw. After dodging repeatedly, Xiao Bei didn't want to be passively defensive all the time, so he roared directly, and his figure suddenly swelled, and the white tiger form finally showed its ferociousness. Raw. Chain lightning. After turning into a white tiger, Xiao Bei roared, and a dark cloud suddenly appeared on the field, with countless lightning surging in it. Boom. 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 Long snakes of lightning rushed towards Korakora, as if to annihilate it. Hold on. Korakora's head was completely covered by thunderclouds, and there was no way to escape, so Mufeng simply chose to take all the attacks directly. Buzz. Invisible energy formed a shield, guarding around Korakora. Boom. Boom. Every time the lightning snake attacked the shield, it would cause the energy shield to fluctuate continuously, as if it was about to break. But every time it would recover dangerously, helping Korakora avoid the lightning snake attacks again and again. Add more fire. Xiao Bei, Golden Thunder Spear. As soon as Liu's command fell, Xiao Bei's lightning spear flew out again, attacking Korakora's shield fiercely. This is a new book by a new author, and I don't have much experience. I hope friends who like it can collect it. Please recommend, please comment, please do anything. Chapter 134. Remarks on the release. Sorry fellow book lovers, this book has to be put on the shelves because the word count exceeds 300,000, so there are no free chapters today. Sorry. Thank you for your support for so long, and vote for Coke every day. Although the current results are not particularly good, they are acceptable. As a newcomer who is writing a book for the first time, it is okay to have this result, and Coke does not have particularly high requirements. It is finally on the shelves, which also means that it will be charged. Speaking of money, I'm definitely sorry for the support of all book lovers, but Coke also needs to eat, so I hope you can continue to support Coke. Of course, I don't ask you to do anything, I just hope that everyone can enjoy reading. Even if you don't read on Gideon, you can search on the internet, and you can easily find many websites. It's so embarrassing, I don't know what to say. In this case, I won't say much, it's better to be practical. From today to tomorrow, there will be an outbreak of 10 chapters. I hope everyone can continue to support Coke, and I hope everyone can enjoy reading. Finally, thank you again. Thank you very much. Chapter 135. End of assessment victory. Pop. Just like the sound of bubbles bursting, the shield that was supposed to be indestructible was finally pierced by the golden thunder spear, and then collapsed in an instant. Boom boom boom. The lightning snake that followed closely also instantly wrapped around Cora. Paralysis, electric injury, slowness, a series of abnormal states followed, and Cora had no room to fight back. Come back, Cora, you've worked hard. Seeing that the situation was set, and there was no room for counterattack, Mufeng directly took Cora back. Instead of continuing to hold on, it would be better to admit defeat directly. Anyway, this assessment is a basic tutorial setup to allow trainers to become familiar with the assessment process. Ding, the battle is over. Charmander gained 0 experience points, Butterfree gained 500 experience points, and its current level is 16th level 95%. Scyther gained 500 experience points, and its current level is 16th level 89%. Lusitano gained 500 experience points, and its current level is 15th level 99%. Zoroark gained 500 experience points, and its current level is 16th level 21%. Zyobei gained 500 experience points, and its current level is 15th level 75%. As the battle ended, the system's battle reminder sounded, and basically all Pokémon gained something. Especially Lusitano, which also entered the stage of evolution. You won, Liu. Congratulations. Although a junior trainer is not very powerful, this also means that you have finally officially embarked on the road to becoming a strong person. The 6 elite balls were teleported away. After all, they were seriously injured in the previous battle, so it was better to treat them in time. Then Mufeng followed Liu and Qilin for the outside. After all, his Pokémon went to be treated, and Liu's Pokémon also needed treatment. Haha, thank you Mr. Mew for your praise. I really can't bear it. But Mr. Mew is right. If you don't take that step, you will never know that feeling. Liu smiled lightly, and said with deep emotion. After leaving the assessment site, Liu and the other two came to the hall. There are also machines for treating Pokémon here. Although the treatment effect is not as good as that of a Pokémon hospital, it is okay to treat them first. Charmander and the others had just finished their treatment, and Liu sent them back to the system world. Mufeng, who had left, also came back at this moment. Liu, this is your Pokémon book. I have asked someone to update your information. Now you are already a junior trainer. Do you have any plans for the future? Do you want to visit our 3 great families? I believe the clan leader will definitely welcome you very much. Handing the Pokémon book to Liu, Mufeng suddenly invited. Well, I will definitely visit when I'm free. Thank you Mr. Mew for your help. Next, I'm going to challenge the Tokiwa gym. As for the future, let's talk about it later. After saying that, Liu paused for a moment, and finally did not tell her about her schedule, but just said it casually. Well, I wish you a smooth gym battle, but the guy in the Tokiwa gym is not easy to deal with. You have to be careful. After reminding him, Mu Feng watched Li Yu and Qilin Fei gradually disappear outside the door. Li Yu and Qilin Fei, who left the Trainers Guild, did not hesitate at all and went back to the hotel directly. Although it was just a battle, Li Yu felt exhausted. After all, continuous concentration and concentrating on commanding the elves to fight is very exhausting for energy and physical strength. After a good rest, Charmander and the others were also recovering from injuries and adjusting their status in the system world. Qilin Fei felt very distressed when she saw Li Yu so tired, but she didn't say much. She just kissed him gently on the face and then sat on the balcony to start learning breeding knowledge. It was not until the evening that Li Yu finally woke up. After getting up, Li Yu felt full of energy and his whole body was full of strength again. When he came to the balcony, he saw Qilin Fei was still studying, so Li Yu walked over and hugged her directly in his arms. Squinting his eyes, feeling the beauty in his arms, Li Yu felt inexplicably comforted. What's wrong? You're like a different person when you get together, you. Before Qilin Fei could continue to ask questions, Li Yu directly blocked her lips. For a moment, the ambiguous atmosphere was self-evident. After a few sweet words, Li Yu took Qilin Fei downstairs. However, they did not order food, but chose to buy vegetables and cook by themselves. That's right, Li Yu didn't know what he was thinking, but suddenly wanted to cook by himself. And Qilin Fei actually agreed, and then the two of them walked out of the hotel and came to the vegetable market. The magical continent also has all kinds of human beings and simple life, whether on Earth or in this magical continent. Many ordinary people do not have the conditions to become trainers. After all, the money and energy that trainers need to spend to achieve something is far beyond the affordability of ordinary civilians. Therefore, a large number of people did not choose to become adventure trainers, but to be ordinary people. They live an ordinary life, without waves, no accidents, and no surprises, just like this. Live an ordinary life. No one will say whether this is right or wrong, whether it is progressive or stable. It is just a way of life in the world. Let's get back to the point. Back to Li Yu. Surprisingly, using the ingredients of the magical continent and the cooking techniques of China, the food made in the end actually has a very peculiar taste. Whether it is Li Yu and Qilin Fei from the earth, or the little Charmander from the magical continent, they all feel very delicious after eating. Unexpected surprises often come inadvertently, just a whim, but it actually brings them countless fun and laughter. Perhaps the meaning of adventure is just like this, constantly experiencing new things, meeting new people, and having new stories, making life more exciting. Dividing line. Hello, I'm a junior trainer from Kingmu Town. My name is Li Yu. I want to challenge the Changpan Gym. Can you help me see if it's my turn today? Because there are also many people challenging the gym, it can be said that there are huge crowds of people. Although I feel a little helpless, I still ask the service staff. Well, I got it. It is expected that they may be free around 4 PM today. If possible, you can make an appointment first, and I will notify you when the time comes. How about it? After checking, the service staff suggested to Li Yu. Well, please help me make an appointment. This is my elf illustration book. It is naturally the best to have a chance. Since the challenge can be held in the afternoon, Li Yu has nothing to worry about. He directly handed the elf illustration book to the other party. Well, okay, I have arranged it for you. If there is a time, I will notify you. Please keep the communication open. After the appointment was completed, Li Yu took Qilin Fei away directly. After all, there were so many people behind, and it would be bad to delay their time. Fei, where are we going? It will take a long time before it is my turn. Holding Qilin Fei's hand and walking on the street, Li Yu turned his head and looked at her and asked, why don't we go to the movies? I haven't seen a movie performed by elves yet. I really want to see it. Suddenly, seeing the movie posters at the door, Qilin Fei looked at Li Yu in surprise and suggested, well, sure. I haven't seen it either. I can give it a try. The two of them agreed and walked straight into the elf cinema. They chose a movie, bought the tickets, and then Li Yu bought a bunch of snacks and took Qilin Fei inside to watch. This book is officially on the shelves. I hope that book friends who like it can collect it, vote, and of course it would be even better if they can subscribe. Haha, thank you all for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, Battle with Prince Sakaki, Subscription Request. The whole 2-hour movie was like 1,000 years for Liu and Shilin. Because of the plot and the acting, it was really boring. From the beginning to the end, the elves were playing games together, such as hide and seek, and all kinds of boring plots, which made Liu and Shilin extremely embarrassed. Liu even suspected that he had walked into the wrong set. Is this a children's channel? Although he was helpless, the two of them actually finished watching the movie. It was their own fault. After escaping from the cinema in a panic, the two returned to the hotel and started preparing lunch. They still cooked by themselves. Although it took time, Liu and the others didn't care at all. After lunch, Liu and Shilin entered the system world one after another. It was just that Liu adjusted his state with the elves and prepared for the battle, while Shilin started to study again. Time passed slowly, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Liu left the system world early. Looking at the elf illustrations, there was no news. Liu breathed a sigh of relief and sighed at the same time. After all, although the lack of news means that he has not missed it, it also means that the Changpan gym still has no free examiner who can accept his challenge. He walked alone on the street and walked towards the Changpan gym. On the way, Liu received a message from the service staff at noon. He quickly quickened his pace and arrived at the Changpan gym within 3 minutes. He took out the Pokémon book to prove his identity, and then Liu was taken to a battlefield. This Changpan gym also uses space development technology. The Changpan gym, which is not small to begin with, appears even larger after entering. Behind each door is a small world, which is divided into countless battlefields again, to facilitate the challenge of trainers. Gym challenges are not all challenges to gym owners. After all, they are so busy that they can't serve you one by one. So gym battles are basically battles with the gym owner's subordinates, including family members sent by the gym owner's family and recruited individual trainers. Then they are graded according to their strength to deal with the challenges of trainers of different levels. As for Liu's level, it is good to have someone to challenge. However, accidents always happen suddenly. When he walked into the venue, the familiar figure made Liu stagger and almost fall. Damn it. What are you doing? It's actually Sakaki Wang Hao? Are you kidding? Liu cursed in his heart and really wanted to turn around and walk away, but the reality was not like that. Mr. Wang Hao, you are really everywhere. Could it be that the person I want to challenge is you? Liu said lightly. Isn't this just because I'm bored, so I came to experience the strength of the trainers? In fact, I didn't expect that the first person to fight me would be you. Sakaki Wang Hao had an expression of disbelief on his face, but the smile in his eyes was very obvious, and his acting skills were really terrible. Liu smiled helplessly and didn't know what to say. Sakaki Wang Hao was like this, what could he do? Okay, don't waste time. As an examiner, today's work is very busy. Start fighting. I have long wanted to see your strength. Sakaki Wang Hao said with a serious face and a smile. Whatever you want. Anyway, I have no hope today. I'll just play with you. Speechless, Liu could only say this. This gym battle is 4 vs 4. A total of 4 Pokémon can be used. The challenger can change Pokémon at will, and the King and Prince Commander can only change new Pokémon after the Pokémon loses its combat effectiveness. When all the Pokémon of one side completely lose their combat effectiveness, the other side wins. This challenge officially begins. Please release the Pokémons. A middle-aged man wearing white gloves is obviously the referee of the gym battle. After standing in the center of the venue, he stepped aside. As a referee, he not only has to observe whether the game is fair, but also has to stop the battle at any time to avoid the Pokémon from dying due to serious injuries. This kind of thing has happened before. After all, there are always accidents in battles. If the trainer's Pokémon dies because of the challenge, it is not what the league wants to see. Liu, release your first Pokémon. He casually threw a Pokéball, and then a cute little Diglett appeared on the field. This is one of the most common Pokémons on the magical continent, Diglett. Although his strength and talent are average, he is a Pokémon used by many trainers. The Diglett used by the Sakaki Prince is also a very talented one among the Diglett tribe. Pokémon, Diglett attribute, ground qualification, gold level, black iron level 15 ability, talented skill, noise, the rest are not enabled, learning skills, flying sand kicks plus magnitude plus digging holes plus scare plus shadow clone. Although the level is only 15, the talent of this Diglett is very powerful, and it meets the requirements of the Sakaki family. 4 Pokémon. First of all, he is a ground type Pokémon, which is consistent with the attributes of the Sakaki family's special Pokémon. In addition, not only has he learned all the skills, but he has also learned Shadow Clone from the skill machine, which is a very powerful ability. You know, even Zoroark, who is a dark type Pokémon, has not learned the skill of Shadow Clone, but now it has been learned by a ground type Pokémon. If Zoroark knew, he would be ashamed to death. It seems that we should also strengthen their learning and control of skills. With a sigh in his heart, Liu decided secretly. Who? Let's start. Come out, Scyther, it's you. Taking a deep breath, the Pokéball was thrown out, and Scyther appeared on the field. Because Scyther felt very guilty about the defeat in the last battle, he wanted to go out first this time, to give his companions the upper hand. Scyther, sharp blade attack, chase. Taking the upper hand, Liu directly ordered Scyther to attack quickly. Sure. Like a sharp blade out of its sheath, Scyther's figure quickly ran towards Diglett, and the double blades in its hands were constantly waving. Diglett, dig a hole. Sakaki Wanghao said lightly with a slight smile on his face. Sure. In just a moment, Diglett dug out the hole, then went directly into the ground and disappeared. Scyther, watch your feet at all times. Seeing that Diglett disappeared directly, because he didn't know where Diglett would come out from, Liu hurriedly told Scyther to be careful. Dang. Scyther looked around cautiously, especially at the ground, but found no movement. The mole seemed to have disappeared. HMPH. Sakaki Wanghao didn't say anything, but just hummed softly, as if to express something. Without waiting for Liu to remind him, Scyther swung the sharp blade towards the ground, directly breaking up the mole that had emerged from the ground. What? Chapter 137 Gym Battle 2, Subscription Request. Just when Liu thought that Scyther had seen through the rat's sneak attack and was about to command him to pursue the victory, he was shocked to see the rat's figure disappear directly. It was obvious that the rat that Scyther defeated was just his shadow clone. Just when Liu was about to remind Scyther to be careful of sneak attacks, the rat's figure instantly appeared behind Scyther. Liu had no time to command, and Scyther was even less able to react, and was instantly hit by the rat's attack. Bang bang. The sharp claws directly grabbed Scyther's body, and were directly interrupted by Scyther's skills. And a terrifying scream came out of his mouth, like the roar of a demon. Buzz. The invisible mental attack directly acted on Scyther, and the terrifying scream directly made him depressed, and his momentum instantly weakened. Scyther, gather your energy. Seeing that Scyther was instantly passive and his strength was seriously reduced, he would definitely lose if he continued like this. Liu quickly commanded Scyther to use the key gathering skill, increasing the attack and speed, while strengthening its own momentum. Clang. With a loud shout, Scyther's originally sluggish momentum gradually recovered, but it was still not as good as its heyday. Gopher, flying sand kick. Seeing Scyther's actions, Sakaki Wanghao did not react at all, but just commanded Gopher on his own. Whisper. The sound of the whistling wind and sand resounded on the field, and the sudden wind and sand directly blocked everyone's sight. The fine wind and sand were like hail, hitting the face and hurting. Boom. Just when Scyther was ready to deal with the wind and sand, the ground suddenly shook violently, like an earthquake. Crack. The ground suddenly cracked, and Scyther accidentally fell into the crack. Boom boom. It was as if the end of the world had come. The violent wind and sand whistled on the field, and the ground was shaking constantly. The huge pressure continued to squeeze Scyther in the crack. Quick. Scyther, you saw your strength. You must rush out. Feeling that the situation was not good, Diglett would definitely take advantage of the victory and pursue. If Scyther could not get rid of the restraints, it would become a sitting duck. Clang. Lightning flash. Roaring angrily, Scyther's double blade slammed on the ground fiercely and gathered all the energy in the body to make a lightning flash. Sure. Finally getting rid of the restraints, but the severe consumption of physical strength made Scyther's fighting power insufficient, and the same was true for Diglett. Because Diglett was not strong enough, using multiple powerful skills continuously also consumed his physical strength very seriously, so it was still unknown who would win or lose. You are good, Liu. I didn't expect that you could fight me evenly even in this situation. But, snap. As he said, Sakaki Wanghao suddenly snapped his fingers, and then Diglett suddenly split into 3 again, and the shadow clone skill was activated again. The mole didn't know whether it was calm or speechless, and didn't make a sound from beginning to end, but it executed the order very quickly. The 3 moles moved quickly, and in a blink of an eye, it was hard to tell which one was the real one. The 3 figures pounced on Scyther at the same time, and their small claws flashed with sharp cold light. Scyther, use insect buzz. It was impossible to tell which one was the real mole, but suddenly Liu had a flash of inspiration and quickly ordered Scyther. Buzz. Scyther's double blades kept vibrating, emitting a strange sound wave. After the sound wave touched the 3 moles, 2 of them suddenly trembled, as if they were projections. Very good, I found you. Scyther, attack the mole in front of you on the left. Liu shouted with a hint of joy on his face. Clang. Blade attack. Chase. The figure flashed out quickly, and Scyther came to the side of Diglett in the left front in the blink of an eye, and the series of attacks directly hit him. The sharp double blades cut into his body, and Diglett was instantly covered with scars. Diglett, who had been silent all the time, also groaned in pain at this moment. Come back, Diglett, you've worked hard. Unexpectedly, he was defeated and won. Sakaki Wanghao was speechless. He didn't expect to lose to Liu, a fledgling junior trainer. Although he only used low-level Pokémon, his combat awareness and experience were real, but he didn't expect to lose in the first game. Bobo. This Pokémon is a yellow-brown bat with sharp claws and sharp eagle eyes, just like a hunter about to hunt, scrutinizing the movements on the field. Pidgeot, a Pokémon with a general and flying type, is good at speed and using wind as a means of attack. Among ordinary trainers, it is one of the most popular Pokémon. Spymantis, U. Because Spymantis's physical strength was running out, Liu was going to take him back, have a good rest, and let other Pokémon come out. Clang. I want to continue fighting. Spymantis interrupted Liu directly, looking at him with a firm look, wanting to continue fighting. Yes. Looking at Spymantis's firm eyes, Liu nodded and stopped his hand movements. Spymantis, sharp blade attack. Because recently Mantis was only good at gliding, it was still a lot worse than the flying Pidgeot. But in the end, Liu still agreed to Spymantis's request because he didn't want to disappoint Spymantis, even though he knew he would definitely lose. Clang. With a strong leap, Spymantis flew into the air. Through the vibration of the double blades, Spymantis controlled his body and kept gliding towards Pidgeot. Flying sand kick. Sakaki Wanghao spoke very simply, but it seemed that he had already developed a habit with the Pokémons. With just a simple command, the Pokémons could understand what he meant. How? The sky full of sand and wind appeared again, almost exactly the same as before. The whistling sand and wind hurt people and blocked everyone's sight. Boom. Fierce storm. Suddenly, just as Scyther was struggling to resist the wind and sand, and was about to approach Pidgeot, Pidgeot actually attacked again. The raging storm rolled up the wild sand and instantly enveloped Scyther in the center of the storm, cutting his body like a blade. Bang! Scyther was thrown out by the storm and hit the ground directly, making a bang. Dang. After all, Scyther was exhausted, and could not withstand the fierce continuous attacks, and fell into a coma. Scyther, come back. You have worked hard. After taking back Scyther, Liu quickly thought about who should be allowed to appear. Well, it's you. Come out. Chapter 138 Untitled Chapter. Butterfree, come out. Compared to Pidgeot, Butterfree does not have much advantage, but Liu believes that Butterfree will not let him down. Bang bang bang. As soon as Butterfree appeared, it turned a few circles gracefully and then looked at Pidgeot vigilantly, waiting for Liu's command at any time. 3 series of powder. Take turns to control the field. Since Butterfree is on the stage, he must use the 3 series of powder that he is best at. Bang bang bang. Continuously rotating, green, colorless, and white powders are released on the field, gradually covering the place where Pidgeot is. Flying Sand Kick. With a slight curl of the corners of his mouth, Sakaki Wanghao said lightly. Shashasha. Because of his resting talent, Pidgeot can automatically restore his physical strength at any time, just like a perpetual motion machine. The wind and sand appeared on the field again, instantly suppressing Butterfree's 3 series of powder wood. And there is also a trend of counter-invasion, covering Butterfree. Butterfree, insect chirp. Disrupt him. Seeing that the 3-element powder was about to be rolled back by the flying sand, Liu hurriedly asked Butterfree to interfere with Pidgeot's actions. Buzz. Strange sound waves came out of Butterfree's mouth. Both Liu and Pidgeot were a little confused because of hearing this sound. Give up using the flying sand kick. Attack Butterfree directly. Air cutting. Sakaki Wanghao originally wanted to use the flying sand kick to interfere with Butterfree's attack and affect his vision, so as to launch a surprise attack. But who knew that his plan would be destroyed by Butterfree, so he chose to attack directly instead. Buzz. Swish. The invisible and intangible air suddenly condensed and turned into the shape of a blade, and it was mixed with wind and sand, which made the power of the skill increase dramatically. The quicksand wind blade slashed directly at Butterfree, and the speed was like an afterimage, directly attacking Butterfree's body. Bang bang. Butterfree's defense was not strong to begin with, especially the power of this air cutting skill was very strong. The chain of wind blades cut into his body, instantly defeating Butterfree. Oh, I guessed it was a mistake. I didn't expect it to last a few rounds, but it's pretty good. With a helpless sigh in his heart, Liu found that among his Pokémon, the control over the air is too low, and almost no Pokémon is good at air combat. This has been shown in several battles, but it's not like Butterfree this time. It was completely crushed. Calm down and try to control your state. In his mind, he quickly thought about which Pokémon to send out. It's finally evolved. Cassie. No, Brawlhalla, come out. It's decided to be you. Just when Liu was struggling with which Pokémon to send out, Cassie, who had been sleeping in the system world, finally woke up at this moment. More importantly, after sleeping for 4 or 5 consecutive days, his mental power finally increased dramatically, and he successfully evolved into Brawlhalla. You must know that Cassie's mental power is already very strong, and now it has evolved into Brawlhalla. With his mental power soaring again, his strength will definitely have a qualitative leap. Jilla. After evolving into young Jira, his appearance has also changed drastically. He used to be like a minor, but now he has become an adult. Changing from his previous sleepy appearance, young Jira is now full of energy. He is wearing a grey-brown outfit and holding a white spoon in his sharp-clawed hands. Haha, young Jira. Very good. Liu, your strength really amazes me. Feeling the momentum of young Jira, which far exceeds that of his peers of the same level, Prince Sakaki exclaimed. Well, young Jira, you are indeed very powerful, and I didn't expect this. Liu smiled slightly and said very happily in his heart. Haha, keep going. I'm looking forward to his performance. Prince Sakaki said, and once again commanded Pidgeot to prepare for the attack. Young Jira, show your strength. Petrification. Young Jira, who has successfully evolved, has learned a new skill, petrification. Once this skill is used, the opponent can be petrified. Of course, this is not certain, but it depends on the level and strength of both parties. However, Liu felt that Pidgeot was definitely not an exception. Buzz. A mysterious ray flashed quickly and landed directly on Pidgeot. Then I saw that Pidgeot, which was originally flying in the sky, had its wings turned into stone. Pidgeot, who lost its wings, lost its balance, and fell to the ground. Pidgeot struggled to stand up, but he couldn't control his body at all. Your strength is really good. Come back. Pidgeot, you've worked hard. With a sigh of praise, Prince Sakaki took back Pidgeot directly and then threw out another Pokeball and a new Pokémon appeared on the field. Pokémon, Nidolang attributes, Poison qualification, Gold level, Black Iron level 15 ability, Talented skills, Petrification, possessing Petrification talent and immune to Petrification status. The rest are not opened. Learning skills, Continuous kicks plus poison needles plus crazy attack plus digging holes plus 100,000 volts. Nidolang is purple all over, but has a pair of green ears. Moreover, his talent is also very powerful. He actually inherited the skill of petrification. In this case, young Jirah can't use the old trick and perform the petrification skill again. However, Liu believes that even so, young Jirah can still defeat Nidolang. Young Jirah, teleport. As Liu's voice ended, young Jirah's figure disappeared instantly, and he appeared behind Nidolang again. But, just when young Jirah was about to launch an attack, Nidolang actually dug a hole to escape, and his figure disappeared under the ground. Swish. Just when young Jirah was searching around, Nidolang also popped up from behind him, and kicked young Jirah with a series of kicks. But, teleport. Young Jirah's reaction was not slow either. His figure disappeared again, making Nidorang's attack miss. Swish swish swish. The two elves kept fighting. Young Jirah, who had the talent of teleportation, and Nidorang, who always had the skill of digging holes, were unable to do anything to each other for a while. Kai. The sharp claws grabbed onto young Jirah's body. This time, young Jirah did not dodge, but took the move head on. But, enduring the pain from the scratches on his body, young Jirah instantly activated the mysterious space skill. Nidolang had no way to avoid it, and was directly sealed and bound in the mysterious space. Very good phantom attack. Seeing that the opportunity was rare, Liu directly shouted at young Jirah to attack quickly and seize this rare opportunity. Nidolang, 100,000 volts. Just as young Jirah was concentrating his mental attack and preparing to defeat Nidolang in one fell swoop, the faint voice of Prince Sakaki suddenly sounded. What? Chapter 139. Get the Rock Badge. Duo. 100,000 volts. Nidolang, who was originally bound in a strange space, actually raised his lips slightly. Then he saw lightning flashing all over his body, and the surging lightning directly broke through the space and enveloped young Jirah. The skill of 100,000 volts is not the most powerful among all the electric skills, but it is at least ranked in the middle, and young Jirah directly took all the damage of the 100,000 volts move. Although young Jirah would not be killed instantly, the consumption of physical strength was also very serious. Duo. Continuous kick. Because of the attack of 100,000 volts, young Jirah fell into a short state of paralysis, and Nidolang seized this opportunity, rushed forward again, and swept young Jirah with a series of kicks. But unexpectedly, the accident happened again. Young Jirah struggled to control his paralyzed body, and a huge amount of mental power surged out, forcibly controlling Nidolang's body. Boom. Although his mental power was severely depleted, young Jirah did not give up at all. He forcibly controlled Nidolang to crash into the ground continuously. But, just when Nidolang was confused by the collision, young Jirah used up his last mental power, and launched his most powerful attack skill, Illusion Attack. Boom. The fierce blow that exhausted all of young Jirah's mental power instantly bombarded Nidolang's body, directly knocking it away, and finally falling heavily to the ground. Young Jirah finally fell to the ground because of the exhaustion of mental power and lost his combat effectiveness at the same time as Nidolang. Liu and Prince Sakaki tacitly did not say anything, but quietly took back the Pokémon and then released new Pokémon again. The Pokémon Liu chose this time was Charmander. As his first Pokémon, Charmander was almost always used in every battle. And the last Pokémon of Prince Sakaki was also a fire Pokémon, and it was also a Pokémon with very good talent. This Pokémon was covered with yellow-brown hair, and there were tufts of white hair on his back and chest, and there were some black patterns on his body. Pokémon, Caterpie attributes, fire qualification, gold level, black iron level 15 ability, talented skills. Flame Vortex. Use flames to attack the opponent, and there is a certain probability that the opponent will enter a burn state. The rest are not enabled. Learning skills. Slam plus Spark plus Bite plus Dig plus Fire Wheel. Growlithe is a very cute Pokémon. It is not only very popular among trainers, but even some ordinary people will capture a Growlithe and live with them. Without further ado, let's get back to the topic and return our attention to Liu. Liu, as long as you defeat my last Pokémon, you can get the rock badge, but I won't hold back. Although he was quite surprised by the result of the previous battle, Prince Sakaki did not show it, but said calmly, "The same goes for me. You don't have to hold back. I will also win in the end." Liu said this in a firm tone, both for the other party to hear and to cheer himself up. Although he knew that Lord Sakaki would not use his full strength. After all, the other party was a master of the king level. But even if the king level used a small part of his strength, it was not something that Liu could easily deal with. Although it seemed that Liu had achieved very good results in the previous battles. But you have to know that Mufeng and Lord Sakaki use low-level elves, and they deliberately suppressed their own strength and did not go all out. The final battle finally began. Charmander, Alloy Claws. Liu launched the attack first and directly ordered Charmander to use the Alloy Claws skill. Swish, swish, swish. The sharp claws instantly turned into an alloy-like metallic color and grabbed at Growlithe at a tricky angle. But Growlithe was in its prime at this time, and with a few jumps, it perfectly avoided Charmander's Alloy Claw attack. Caddy. Bite. After dodging Charmander's attack, Growlithe fought back without giving in. It stomped its hind hooves on the ground, rushed forward quickly to Charmander's side, and bit his arm with its sharp teeth. Roar. After being bitten, the numbness and pain surged into Charmander's heart, causing Charmander to roar in pain. Good opportunity. Charmander. Throw over the shoulder. Although Charmander was very uncomfortable after being attacked, it was also a good opportunity, so Liu shouted hurriedly. Roar. Just as Growlithe was about to retreat, Charmander roared, stretched out his hands, and grabbed Growlithe directly, then lifted it up with all his strength, and threw it to the ground. Bang. After hitting the ground hard, Growlithe felt his head buzzing, as if he was drunk. Very good Charmander. Retreat. Dragon's Fury. Taking advantage of the victory, Liu quickly ordered Charmander to seize the opportunity and give Growlithe the final blow. Roar. Dragon's Fury. A dragon-shaped phantom gradually condensed and appeared on the field, carrying a faint dragon-like pressure, and pressed towards Growlithe. Katie. Flame Wheel. Seeing that the dragon's wrath was about to hit, Growlithe, whose condition had recovered, quickly used a move to block. Boom boom. Just as Growlithe had just gathered the flame wheel and wanted to retreat to resist the dragon-shaped phantom, the sudden collision directly blew it away. Obviously, Growlithe was still a step slower and was directly blown away by the strong explosion. The physical strength that had already consumed a lot was finally exhausted, and it fell directly to the ground unconscious. The battle is over. Mr. Wang Hao's elves are the first to lose their combat effectiveness, so the winner is the challenger from Aoki Town, Liu. The battle was finally over, and the referee walked to the center of the field, looked at Liu and Sakaki Wang Hao, and loudly announced the result of the game. "Hey, you are not as skilled as others. Liu, I didn't expect that I would lose. You don't even know how to let an old man like me." Sakaki Wang Hao pretended to be resentful, as if Liu had done something to him, something unspeakable. "Ah, damn, are you making trouble?" Speechless, Liu was really speechless. This Sakaki Wang Hao was already so old, and he still said such things. It was really, haha, I won't tease you anymore. Congratulations on your victory. I really didn't expect that there would be so many accidents in a battle with you. It's really a surprise. Sakaki Wang Hao was very surprised from the bottom of his heart about the battle with Liu, because Liu can always create unexpected miracles in critical moments. Haha, luck, ha. After so much hard work, the mission is finally completed. It's really not easy. Mr. Wang Hao, if there is nothing else, I'll leave first, because I suddenly remembered that I still have things to do. Sorry. Liu was delighted when he heard the system's prompt. He quickly took the rock badge from Sakaki Howdy and said goodbye. Chapter 140 Characteristics of the Elves. Subscription request. Mr. Wang Hao, if there is nothing else, then we will take our leave first. Holding back the excitement in his heart, Liu said goodbye to the Sakaki Wang Hao in front of him. It's okay. If you have something urgent, please feel free to come. Seeing Li Yu's impatient look, Sakaki Wanghao was very puzzled, but nodded. Goodbye. After saying that, Li Yu walked out of the Tokiwa gym without hesitation, and rushed to the hotel quickly. After returning to the hotel, Li Yu directly entered the system world, and began to carefully check the system prompt information. After carefully reading it from beginning to end, Li Yu knew that his task of upgrading permissions was finally completed, which meant that he could finally share the power of the elves. He chose the heavy defense of the iron dumbbell without hesitation. In an instant, Li Yu felt that there seemed to be something more in his body, but he couldn't say it. But there was another kind of intuition. Li Yu knew that he had the super physical defense of the iron dumbbell. Although this ability can only defend against attacks of the same level, and will lose its effect if the attack intensity is too high, Li Yu thinks that this is already very good. After experiments, Li Yu found that with his current defense, he can be almost completely immune to attacks below the Zuan level. If it is above the Zuan level, the higher the level, the worse the immune effect. But think about it, this is normal. Then there is the increase in system functions brought by the increase in authority. After the authority was increased, Li Yu once again had a new ability, that is, characteristic viewing. When using the system to identify the elf information before, the skills, talents, and levels of the elves can be seen clearly, but the uniqueness cannot be seen. On the magical continent, although there are also systematic results in the study of the characteristics of the elves, they are not fully understood. The characteristics of many elves are very special and very unimaginable, so it is very troublesome to study. As a result, researchers have always been in a state of half knowledge and half understanding of the characteristics. So since Li Yu crossed over, although he has always wanted to understand the characteristics of his elves, the elf illustrations cannot give completely accurate information. For example, Charmander, the Pokémon illustrated book says that it has the solar energy characteristic, that is, in a hot environment, the attack power will increase significantly. But under the identification of the system, in fact, the characteristic of Charmander is the fire blessing characteristic. The effect is that, as long as it is in an environment where fire energy is highly concentrated, the attack power will increase dramatically. It seems that there is no difference between the two, but there is a world of difference. The fire blessing characteristic has another more important feature, which is to absorb fire attacks. When the enemy uses fire skills to attack Charmander, not only can it be immune to some damage, but also some of it will be absorbed by Charmander and turned into its own energy. In short, although the research on the characteristics of Pokémons in the magical continent has a formed system that can help trainers understand their Pokémons, it is not accurate. The system is very accurate and can help Li Yu better understand and train his Pokémons. After another identification, Li Yu finally understood the characteristics of his Pokémon. Charmander characteristics: fire blessing effect, in an environment where fire element gather, amplify the attack, and absorb the opponent's fire attacks. Cassie characteristics: nightmare effect, in the early stage, he was born sleepy, but he could improve his mental strength in his dreams. In the later stage, you can create a nightmare space and pull the opponent into it. But a free feature, colored skin effect, reduces its presence, making it difficult for the opponent to lock onto the target. Scythe feature, unyielding heart effect, the worse the situation is, the greater the increase in the speed of its own attack. Magikarp feature, King's power effect, it is naturally intimidating to the enemy, reducing the opponent's momentum and increasing its own attack and speed. Water Otter feature 1, Dragon scale armor effect, it has the blood of the dragon in its body, so the skin on its body will have the characteristics of dragon scales, automatically weakening the opponent's attack. Feature 2, Dragon Fury, not activated. Effect, in the dragon transformation state, the dragon's majesty is added, thereby greatly improving its own strength. Iron Dumbbell feature 1, Star power effect, because the star core is fused in the body, it has the ability to control the power of the stars. Feature 2, Light alloy effect, reduce its own weight, making its own weight reduce to half of the original. Zoroark's characteristic, Shadow illusion effect, after using the shadow clone, it will automatically affect the other party's ability to judge the clone, and it will be impossible to find the real body. Eevee's characteristic, Dual personality effect. Due to special reasons, he has a dual personality in his body, and the personalities of the two personalities are completely opposite. Muto's characteristic, dream heart effect, made by the dream gene, so he has the power of dream in his body. After activating the dream heart, his strength has skyrocketed countless times, and he can also control the power of dream. Xiaobei, Thunder Gang White Tiger, magical power, thunder faith effect, the belief in thunder, makes the control of thunder reach the realm of freedom. Ocean, Hell three-headed dog, magical power, one heart, 3 uses effect, because it has 3 heads at the same time. It has 3 personalities and 3 thoughts. It can control 3 thoughts without confusion. The characteristics of each elf are clearly displayed in front of Liu. There are surprises and joys, good and bad, but no matter what, it makes Liu have a deeper understanding of elves. Among them, because Xiaobei and Ocean are earth beasts, not native elves of the magical continent, they have no characteristics, only magical powers. And because they are divine beasts, their magical powers can grow. The stronger their strength grows, the more powerful the power brought by the magical powers will be. And because Xiaomeng is cloned from the dream gene, the power of dream is hidden in his body. Although I don't know what the specific ability is, it is definitely a very powerful ability. Although Dream has not shown very strong strength in the anime, but in Liu's understanding, Dream is one of the most respected beasts in the magical continent. It is said that Dream lives in the Dream City and guards the world tree that has existed since the creation of the world. Prevent those who want to affect the peace of the continent by destroying the world tree. But what is the truth? Not many people know. After all, this kind of thing cannot be touched without a certain strength. Among all the characteristics of the elves, the characteristics of the 3 elves, Water Otter, Eevee, and Iron Dumbbell, are the most surprising to Liu. Because although they are ordinary elves, they have special characteristics due to a series of special reasons, which also makes their future path broader. To be continued. Chapter 141 Leaving Tokiwa, subscription request. Because the water otter has absorbed the blood of a powerful ancient dragon, it has the ability to transform into a dragon. And even its characteristics have changed. The original characteristic of shell armor has also changed into dragon scale armor, and its defense is greatly enhanced compared to ordinary iron dumbbells. Another characteristic is the dragon's unique dragon power, which increases its own strength while reducing the opponent's momentum. Although it is unknown what the water otter will become after learning to transform into a dragon, these 2 characteristics alone are enough for the water otter to be invincible. The iron dumbbell also gained a new characteristic, star power, because of the fusion of star alloy. But because it has not been activated yet, it cannot be used for the time being. The characteristic of the original iron dumbbell, light alloy, is very practical. Because the iron dumbbell is very heavy, the movement speed is very slow. But the characteristic light alloy can reduce the weight by half, which greatly improves the movement speed of the iron dumbbell. Although it is still not satisfactory, it is already very good compared to before. The most surprising thing is that Shilinfo's elf Eevee actually has the characteristic of dual personality. Liu had never heard of this feature, whether in games or anime. However, thinking of the special properties of Eevee, Liu seemed to have thought of something, but it was fleeting, and he did not catch the sudden thought. After basically understanding the properties of the elves, Liu checked the new tasks again. The prerequisite for the new permission upgrade task is no longer that the 10 elves reach a certain level. Instead, it has been changed to winning a large-scale competition. This condition is a bit vague. What scale does the so-called large-scale competition refer to? It is not clear how many people participate. It just prompts that, as long as he has participated in the competition and won the championship, the system will automatically determine whether this game can be used as a condition for completing the task. Although he is very unhappy with this general statement, what can Liu do? The system is the boss, and there is no way to refute it. He can only obey helplessly. After fully understanding the system update, Liu is actually very satisfied. Although there are many unsatisfactory aspects, it is still very helpful to Liu overall. After leaving the system world, Liu saw Shilinfei preparing dinner. Time passed slowly. After dinner, Liu and Shilinfei came to the streets of Changpeng City again. because tomorrow Liu and his friends will leave Changpeng City and embark on a new adventure. So this can be said to be their last night in Changpeng City. Although they can come back later, they don't know how long it will be. It's not easy to come here. If you don't appreciate the local customs and customs here, you can't really be here. Walking on the busy streets, watching the bustling crowds, eating delicious food, and being accompanied by beautiful women. At this moment, Liu only felt very satisfied in his heart and wanted time to stop at this moment. But reality is cruel after all. Time can't stop because of someone's thoughts. But it is precisely because of continuous moving forward that we can go to more places, meet more people, and experience more different things. Maybe the meaning of adventure lies in the unknown. There was no talk all night. Liu and his friends got up early the next day. After some preparation, they set out on a new journey again. The Changpeng forest surrounds Changpeng City and can be said to be a very large forest. The area of the entire forest is at least 6 or 7 times that of Changpeng, or even more. It is said that there are many very powerful and rare Pokémon living in the evergreen forest. However, there are very few trainers who have actually encountered and recovered those Pokémon. And Liu also fantasized about meeting some powerful Pokémon, and it would be best if they were flying type Pokémon. Because what he lacks now is a flying type Pokémon that is good at air combat. However, this kind of thing requires fate and luck, and no one can predict whether they can meet. Only Liu went to the evergreen forest this time. Because Liu wanted to train Charmander, Scyther, Aqualad, and Zoroark, the 4 of them. So Linfei understood very well and stayed in the system world with the other Pokémon. Because only Charmander and the other 4 need physical training. The other Pokémon just need other training, which is different from their training, so they can't be together. Today we are going to go hiking and cross country, and we must keep moving forward in a harsh environment without stopping for a moment. And we must be careful of the elves hiding in the forest, and not disturb them, otherwise they will attack us. The most important thing is that I will not provide you with any food. You need to find all the food and water by yourself, and of course I do the same. After telling the training plan for today, Liu took the lead and ran into the depths of the forest. When Charmander saw Liu's figure gradually disappear, he quickly followed his footsteps and ran quickly. The evergreen forest is not peaceful and there is no danger. Although Liu and his friends had not encountered any danger before, it was just their good luck. There are not only various harsh environments in the forest, but also many elves with fierce personalities. Some elves hate to be disturbed, and some even have a hobby of fighting. Once you meet them, you may be attacked by them. If it is an ordinary elf, it is okay. If you can't beat it, you can still run away. But once you meet those elves with special abilities, it is not only very dangerous, but you may even die. Poison, evil, electric, and fairy type Pokémon usually have some negative abilities, like poisoning, paralysis, dizziness, etc. Once attacked by those Pokémon in the forest, it is very likely to endanger life safety. Although the league has never reported these things, in fact, every year many trainers, due to insufficient preparation or excessive risk, go deep into the forest, swamp, volcano, sea, etc. in very harsh environments without regard for their own safety, resulting in failure to escape and thus death. At first, I didn't know these, but when Liu knew about these dangers, he was still frightened. I also made a decision in my heart that I must be well prepared before each adventure. At the same time, it also strengthened Liu's belief in the pursuit of strength and worked harder to practice. Although the effect was minimal, he has been persisting and never gave up. Trekking through mountains and rivers, crossing rivers and swamps, climbing mountains and crossing ridges, passing through forests and plains. No matter how harsh the environment ahead is, Liu and his training never stops. On this day, Charmander and his friends were training attack moves against the towering trees around them. Liu and Linfei were sitting next to the wooden house, chatting enthusiastically with an elderly couple. Chapter 142, The Hermit in the Forest. Subscription request. A wooden house stands alone in the open grassland in the forest. Next to the wooden house are many fruit trees and carnivorous trees, which are full of ripe fruits and fresh and fragrant carnivorous fruits. Some gentle elves are jumping around on the trees mischievously, picking a ripe fruit from time to time, and stuffing it into their mouths. Even though there are many people sitting on the stone table next to them, the elves don't look scared at all. Instead, they pick a few fruits and send them to Liu and his friends, as if to please them. Liu took the apple-like fruits sent by the elves. Liu smiled at them and gently stroked Bobo's soft hair. Bobo not only did not resist Liu's actions, but squinted his eyes in enjoyment. Haha, Liu, I didn't expect you to be so popular with the elves. It seems that you really like them. Seeing the elves being so intimate with Liu, Renji and Shiri were very surprised. Because they have been with the elves for more than 10 years, they have such a close relationship today. Liu and the elves only had a short contact, but he could make such intimate actions without causing them to be disgusted. Grandpa NC is joking. In fact, these elves are just gentle, so they are not afraid of humans. On the contrary, you, Grandpa, have lived in this forest for so many years, and there are so many elves accompanying you every day. We are really envious. Although Liu was also very curious why the elves were not afraid of him, but liked to be with him very much, he couldn't think of the reason and he couldn't do anything. However, seeing the old man opposite, he has been living in the evergreen forest for so many years. Although isolated from the outside world, there is no loneliness at all. Because they yearn for a plain life, otherwise they would not live in seclusion in the evergreen forest. And with so many elves accompanying them every day, they will not feel lonely. Yes, Grandpa and Grandma, not only can you see such beautiful scenery every day, but there are so many elves living with you. I'm so envious. When saying this, Shilinfa's eyes were full of envy and yearning, and she wished she could live in seclusion like this. Actually, there is a reason why we live in seclusion here. When the old man Renzi said this, a trace of sadness flashed in his eyes. The painful expression flashed. Renzi glanced at his wife, and then continued to look at Liu and said, as early as several decades ago, our 2 children went out for adventures, and disappeared since then. We were heartbroken, and came to the evergreen forest, lived in seclusion here, and never went out again. Perhaps he recalled the sad and painful memories in the past, and the old man Renzi was silent after saying this. I'm sorry, Grandpa NC, we shouldn't have mentioned your sad things, we are really sorry. Knowing that he said something he shouldn't have said, Liu hurriedly apologized. It's not your fault. It's been so long, and we have figured it out. That's what he said, but after all, they are his blood relatives, how can he let it go like this? Cursing himself for not being able to speak, Liu didn't know what to say. For a moment, the atmosphere became silent. Hey. Ha. Throat. At this moment, the sound of Charmander and the others learning fighting skills with the monster reached everyone's ears, easing the somewhat awkward atmosphere. Grandpa NG, your partner monster is so powerful. With such a strong strength, you must have been a very powerful trainer back then, right? In order to ease the atmosphere, Liu quickly changed the topic and talked about Renji's elf partner monster. However, this is not Liu's random talk, because according to the system's identification, the attributes of this monster are indeed very powerful, at least not comparable to the current Liu. Name, monster attribute, fighting qualification, legendary level, epic level 69 ability, talented skills, bodybuilding plus charged fist plus tornado kick plus crazy brute force learning skills, earth throw plus 1 move to feet plus explosive fist plus hell roll plus double chop. An ordinary elf monster can reach this level now, which can be said to be almost the limit. However, Renji's monster still has room for improvement and can be promoted to a higher level. It can be said that it is absolutely very powerful. Yes, this monster is my first Pokémon. He has been with me since I was very young. It can be said that he has the deepest feelings for me. Whether it is going out for adventure or participating in competitions, he is always the one who rushes to the front. So many years have passed, although I don't have the original passion, but he is always by my side. As if thinking of the days when he was with the monster, Renji's gloomy mood also improved, and a trace of nostalgia appeared on his face. Well, it's true. Once the Pokémon chooses a trainer, no matter what they experience in the future, they will follow him without abandoning him. Nodding in agreement, Liu said with great emotion in his heart. Yes. While Li Yu and Renji were chatting about the topic of Pokémon, Shilin Fui and Shirey on the other side were also chatting excitedly. Because she has lived in the evergreen forest for decades, Shirey is very good at the two aspects of food ratio and taking care of Pokémon inbreeding. Therefore, the two chatted, and it turned into a learning exchange meeting. Of course, it must be Shilin Fui who learned from Shizky. Learning blindly is always not enough, because no matter how much knowledge you have, you can't summarize the unexpected situations that may occur in reality. Only by combining with reality and verifying the knowledge you have learned through continuous practice can it truly become a kind of ability. And Shizky is a very good teacher. Not only can she teach Shilin Fui a lot of knowledge, but she can also verify how well she has learned by personally configuring elf potions and elf food. 5 days passed slowly like this. During this time, Li Yu and Charmander continued to absorb the combat skills summarized by Renzi and Strange Power for decades. Shilin Fui and Shizky learned to take care of elves and change the way of taking care of them according to the different periods and different states of different elves. In order to make the elves reach a better state, give full play to their potential, and gain stronger strength. Because Shizky can be said to be a very experienced elf doctor. So Li Yu asked her to check Charmander and others to see if there are any hidden dangers. Since the day the elves followed the trainer, they have been training day and night and fighting non-stop. Injured, treated again. There will always be some sequelae in the body. So Li Yu hoped that Shizky could check Charmander and the others. If there are any hidden dangers, then treat them as soon as possible. If there are none, that would be the best. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 Hatching Mutation. Subscription Request. After a careful examination by Shizky, Li Yu learned that, although Charmander and the others did not have serious hidden injuries, they still had some minor problems left over from training and fighting. Although it would not affect their strength, if they were not removed in time, their talents would definitely be affected over time. Upon hearing this news, Li Yu earnestly begged Shizky to help him remove the hidden dangers for Charmander and the others. And Shizky agreed directly. After all, this was not a big deal for her, and he also liked Li Yu and Shilin Fui very much. Because every time they trained, they would have more or less wounds on their bodies, and those hidden dangers were hidden under the healed wounds. So to remove these hidden dangers, it requires cooperation from many aspects. Not only does it require drug treatment, but it also requires some special massage and relaxation techniques, and during the treatment period, training and fighting are strictly prohibited. When Shizky treated Charmander and the others, Shilin Fui watched carefully on the side and recorded it down for careful study later. The treatment process is very slow and takes up to half a month. Every day, special medicines are needed for medicinal bath treatment, and after the medicinal bath, special massage techniques are needed. Just like Charmander, it is not only fighting but also training, and the most used is his claws. Therefore, it is inevitable that his claws are often fractured due to strong impacts. Although it was treated with potions afterwards, it seemed to be fully recovered without any wounds. But the small wounds in the claws were just ignored. Other elves also have similar situations to a greater or lesser extent. Although it is certainly not 100% perfect after Shiz's treatment, it is certainly best to minimize the hidden dangers. Because the treatment takes a full half month, Li Yu is going to build a wooden house. After all, there is such a long time, and you can't live in a tent all the time. It didn't take much time to build a wooden house. With the help of the strange force, it only took 3 hours for Li Yu and them to build a very comfortable wooden house. It must be said that the strange force has a lot of experience in building wooden houses. After all, he has lived in this forest for decades, and he doesn't know how many wooden houses he has built during this period. Leisurely time passed by little by little. A week had passed since Li Yu and Shilin Fui came to the evergreen forest and lived with the reclusive Renji Shirey. During this week, Charmander and the others received medicinal bath treatment every day, while Shilin Fui studied with Shirey every day. Li Yu was not idle either. Although he could not train with the elves, he could practice on his own. It has been nearly 2 months since Liu broke through to the Zuan level. However, during this period, his strength improved very slowly. In 2 months, Liu's strength only increased by 2 levels, reaching the 3rd level of the Zuan level. Although the speed of improvement is already very fast, it is far behind Shi Linfei. Shi Linfei needs to do other things every day and has no time to practice. But her strength has not fallen behind at all, but has steadily risen. Today, Shi Linfei is already at the peak of the Zuan level. Maybe one day she can feel it and break through to the Earth level directly. Although Liu was very envious and jealous, he was relieved when he thought that Shi Linfei had her own upgrade buff. Shi Linfei not only obtained the inheritance of Master Zuanang, but also directly absorbed the soul energy that can be compared with the Emperor level strongman. She also obtained the inheritance of the Ice God Envoy. Without practicing, her strength will automatically improve. With the blessing of various special opportunities, Shi Linfei does not need to practice, and her speed is like flying an airplane. She can't slow down. Although she was helpless, Liu was not discouraged at all. Instead, she practiced harder every day. It happened that there was an opportunity now, so he meditated and practiced without sleep every day. That night, Liu stopped practicing and sat there quietly waiting for the system's information. Because today is the last day for the elf egg to hatch. Although he didn't believe in the system's promise, Liu still had a little expectation in his heart, hoping that you can hear good news. At midnight, the 15 days that were promised were about to pass and entered the 19th day. Suddenly, the system's prompt sound finally came. Ding, the elf egg is hatched, please check it yourself. It was a very simple prompt, but Liu didn't care at all. Instead, he looked at the scene in front of him with a look of astonishment. I saw that the system world, which was originally white, suddenly became like a dream world. Colorful clouds suddenly appeared in the sky, and the sound of Sanskrit rang out like a dream. The colorful rain continued to fall on the animals and plants in the system world. The strange phenomenon followed, and those animals and plants that were originally low in intelligence or even without wisdom. It was as if they had suddenly evolved rapidly. Not only did their appearance change greatly, but they also had some special abilities. For example, fierce predators such as wolves, lions, tigers and leopards became more powerful. Their sharp claws could directly split the trees, and their running speed was like an afterimage. The changes of those plants were even more magical. They actually grew hands and feet, just like the tree people in the magic world. However, although all these animals and plants have mutated and evolved, they still have not really produced human-like wisdom. At most they are just a little smarter. What surprised Liu the most was the changes of Charmander and others. Ordinary animals and plants absorb colorful rain, while they are directly immersed in a milky white pool. The liquid in the pool seemed to have magical power, not only removing all the hidden dangers of Charmander and others. More importantly, they all upgraded by 1 level. That's right, under the prompt of the system, Charmander and the others were upgraded by 1 level, because they were baptized by the mysterious water. Except Mewtwo, even Charmander and Melka, who were about to evolve and were stuck at level 15, ignored the constraints of evolution and upgraded to level 16 in an instant, but they still did not evolve. Looking at Charmander and the others lying comfortably in the pool, Liu showed an excited expression on his face. Because these visions alone are so powerful, wouldn't the Pokémon and the Pokémon eggs be even more amazing? However, before Liu could ask what kind of Pokémon was hatched from the Pokémon eggs, Mewtwo suddenly appeared in front of Liu. Boy, what is going on? Why am I injured? What did you do? And what is that chaotic light ball in the sky? Chapter 144 The Mysterious Little Fatty. Subscription request. Liu, what on earth happened? Why did it become like this? Just as Liu was about to answer Mewtwo's question, Shi Linfei, who was awakened by the strange phenomenon outside, also walked out with a look of astonishment. Actually, I don't know what happened. I just hatched a Pokémon egg. But who knew that so many strange phenomena would occur? I still don't know what happened. In fact, Liu was only half understanding in his heart. He only knew that these were the results of Pokémon eggs hatching. But he had no idea what the specific reason was. And because of Shilinfu's interruption, Liu directly ignored what Mutuo said just now, that he was injured. Pokémon eggs. Hatching. What on earth is going on? Looking at the strength of this energy, it can almost heal the injuries that have been with me for thousands of years. What kind of Pokémon is in that Pokémon egg? Why does it have such a strong power? Is it that old guy's trick again? He was horrified and had a lot of thoughts in his mind, but no matter how hard Mutuo racked his brains, he couldn't figure out what was going on. The injuries on Mutuo's body, which had been with him for thousands of years, were almost completely healed. Now all Mutuo needs to do is recover, and it will be completely cured within 3 years. By then, Mutuo will also fully recover its strength and return to its peak state. However, Liu didn't know this, and Mutuo obviously didn't tell him. Just as everyone was shocked, the chaotic light ball suspended in the sky suddenly became as bright as daylight, blinding everyone, even Mutuo. But the light faded, and what appeared in front of everyone was a chubby, very cute fat doll. This doll was just like the legendary ginseng doll, chubby and very cute. But the clothes similar to those of an ancient swordsman made him look very cool. Woo. I'm finally back again. Ha ha ha. Ouch. At a certain moment, the doll's aura was like that of a god or demon, pressing everyone's body to worship it. However, this sudden feeling did not last for 3 seconds before it disappeared abruptly. The doll also fell directly to the ground, rubbing its butt in pain and humming non-stop. Everyone was speechless, looking at the cute doll with a black face. Mutuo was so shocked that he stood there for a while. That kind of momentum just now, even I couldn't stop it. But, he is just a little guy who has just hatched? Without mentioning the thousands of thoughts in Mutuo's mind, Liu and Shilinfei walked forward directly, wanting to see what this guy is. Hey, are you okay? Looking at the fat doll sitting on the ground, Shilinfei asked worriedly. Wow, it hurts. My butt hurts. The doll looked at Shilinfei pitifully, with tears in its eyes, which instantly made Shilinfei fall in love with it. Don't cry, baby, be good. The maternal instinct was instantly aroused, and Shilinfei quickly squatted down, hugged the doll in her arms, and comforted it softly. Seeing this weird scene, Liu's heart was really like 1,000 grass whistling through. Liu wanted to catch the system and beat him up. But the reality is cruel. Liu could only accept the fact that there would be one more child on the journey. After some inquiries, Liu and Shilinfei did not get any information about Xiaopang. Xiaopang was the nickname Liu gave to Xianshan. Although Shilinfei seriously opposed the nickname Liu gave and took the name Xianshan, Liu had no intention of changing it. Ignoring Shilinfei's white eyes and the expression of Xiaopang lying in Shilinfei's arms, Liu made a decision. Call him Xiaopang. Let's not talk about Shilinfei teasing Xiaopang on the side. Let's look at Liu. Since Xiaopang came out, Liu has used the system's identification ability to check his information. It's just that I don't know if the system is doing something wrong or for some other reason. Xiaopang's attributes are actually countless question marks. Name, Xianshan, Xiaopang, attributes, qualification, level, ability, innate skills, learning skills. Except for the name, which was given by Liu, it would be strange if it was not displayed. All other attributes are question marks. I don't know what's going on. Moreover, for a doll like Xiaopang to hatch from an elf egg, such a weird thing would happen. Liu was already too frightened, so when he saw that Xiaopang had all unknown attributes, he was not so surprised. Since he couldn't see Xiaopang's attributes, Liu simply treated Xiaopang as a child. He was originally good. And you can't ask him to fight, right? Let Xiaopang, such a cute child, fight. If he is seen by the Minus Protection Association, they will definitely put Liu in jail. Haha, just kidding. Let's get back to the topic. When Liu accepted Xiaopang's strange existence at noon, his mentality did not fluctuate at all. Instead, he sat there quietly and began to practice. Time returned to normal again, and another week passed slowly. Because of the sudden appearance of Xiaopang, Renji and Shizi were very surprised. After all, Shilinfei came out holding a child overnight. No matter who encounters this kind of thing, they will feel very surprised and incredible. But under Liu's forced awkward chat, he still barely rounded it off. Finally, it's time to say goodbye. Living with Renji and Shizzy for so long, it's absolutely false to say that there is no affection. But there is no feast that will never end. Even if you are reluctant, it's time to separate. Because I have wasted so much time here, I won't be able to collect enough badges before the Kanto tournament if I don't leave. There are more than 3 months before the Kanto tournament. If Liu wants to participate in this competition, he must successfully challenge 5 gyms within 3 months and then get 5 badges. And if you want to challenge 5 gyms in a row, Liu's trainer level must reach the advanced trainer. And it's not enough to reach it in terms of strength, you must also successfully pass the level assessment. Even if Liu successfully obtains 5 badges and successfully participates in the Kanto tournament, it is not so easy to get the ideal Qingji town. As mentioned before, those who participated in the Kanto tournament and entered the top 10 were basically high level trainers, and the best even reached the instructor level and gym level. Therefore, if Liu wanted to get a good ranking, he needed to train harder and not slack off at all. Chapter 145. First arrival in Nibi City. Subscription request. Setting off again. This time Liu was still alone, training with Charmander and the others, while Shilin Fei took the initiative to ask to stay in the system world. Because since she got the teachings from Grandma Shiri, Shilin Fei wanted to learn and apply them quickly so that she could help Liu. But this kind of thing is not something that can be learned after all. It takes a long time of study and thinking to understand it, and it is definitely not something that can be achieved in a short time. Therefore, without Liu saying anything, Shilin Fei took the initiative to ask to stay in the system world and study hard, and not to go out with Liu to travel. And Liu naturally agreed, and agreed very happily, because it was convenient for Liu to train with Charmander and the others. Because of the baptism of the vision brought by Xiao Pang before, Charmander and the others not only improved their strength level, but even Charmander and Water Otter, who were stuck on the edge of evolution, also touched the feeling of evolution. Therefore, the most important thing for Charmander and Water Otter now is to grasp that feeling and evolve as soon as possible through continuous training. The training begins. Today our goal is to run 30 kilometers, and then we will have fighting training. After explaining the content of the training clearly, Liu took the lead and headed directly towards Nibe City, and Charmander and the others quickly followed his footsteps. In Liu's plan, the next destination is Nibe City at the end of the Viridian Forest. This is also a very famous city. In the anime, it is where Xiao Gang's family lives. Although I don't know if they still live here, Liu still wants to go and see it. And there is also a gym in Nibe City, which is just right for him to get his second badge. All the way forward, in addition to various training, it is to fight against those wild Pokémon. Liu was very confused. He didn't know why he couldn't meet anyone along the way. Since the last time he met Wuning, Liu has hardly seen any other trainers in the past half month. Although the Viridian Forest is indeed boundless and vast, it is a bit abnormal if there is not even a single figure. But what Liu didn't know was that there are really not many trainers training in the forest now. The routes they traveled on were all forest roads specially planned by the Alliance. Through the forest roads, not only can they train elves, but they can also rest when they are tired. No need to worry about sleeping on the streets. More importantly, on the forest roads, they can also use transportation, off-road bicycles specially prepared by the Alliance for trainers. It only takes 1000 gold coins to use it for a day. Trainers ride bicycles, walk on the forest roads, enjoy the beautiful scenery, and can stop at any time to fight with wild elves. That feeling is wonderful to think about, but Liu, who was misled by the anime, didn't think about it at all. He just thought that he was unlucky and couldn't meet other trainers. It was another 7-day collective forest training. Although the levels of a group of elves did not increase dramatically, their control of their own skills and fighting skills was on a high level. Training is like this. Through constant suggestions, improve your combat quality. Then fight with other elves to improve your level. This is Liu's plan for elf training. That is, he can be so willful because he has a system. If it were other trainers, how could they train a elf so easily? Ordinary trainers don't have a system, so they have to go through hard training and battles again and again to slowly improve the strength of their elves. Because Liu has a system, his elves can gain experience and improve their strength as long as they train or fight. Although there are also restrictions on evolution and advancement compared to those ordinary trainers, it is simply a simple and rough upgrade flow game. Very good. Come on everyone. There are only the last 20 kilometers to reach Nibi City, and we will have a good rest then. Now, go full speed, and try to arrive within 30 minutes. I believe you can do it. It was not easy to reach the destination. Although he had trained for more than 2 hours before, Liu didn't want to give up. Because he only needed to hold on a little longer to achieve the goal. The closer it is to the end, the more he can't give up. Only in this way can the elves be cultivated to persevere and never give up. Roar. Clang. The elves roared in unison and launched a final sprint towards Nibi City with great momentum. On that day, people living around Nibi City saw a very shocking scene. A young man was running on the road, and behind him were 4 elves of different shapes. They were aggressive, and their figures quickly surpassed every passerby, and then quickly disappeared from the end of the passerby's sight. Ho, ho, ho. Everyone, you performed very well. Today's training is officially over. You go back to take a medicinal bath to recover first. In an hour, I will take you to have a big meal. After exhaling continuously, Liu praised the elves. After that, Liu took the excited elves back to the system world. There, Shilinfei will prepare a medicinal bath for them, which can well restore their tense muscles after training, and let them reach a relaxed state. It can also eliminate the hidden dangers left in Charmander and others after training. Let their physical condition always be in the most perfect state. Although Shilinfei doesn't know much about making medicinal bath formulas now, before leaving, Grandma Shiri prepared more than 100 copies for Liu, which is more than enough for Liu to use for 2 months. Liu quickened his pace again and rushed to the elf hospital. Because he couldn't enter the system world openly, Liu could only endure the feeling of sweating all over his body due to training. But in the end, Liu didn't insist on walking to the elf hospital, but directly found a hotel and rented it because it was too uncomfortable. Walking into the room of this hotel, Liu felt that it was actually not much worse than the elf hospital. But thinking that this place is charged, while the elf hospital is free, Liu felt that there seemed to be no comparison. After taking a beautiful bath and lying on the comfortable big bed, Liu really wanted to stay there quietly and never get up. But thinking of preparing a big meal for Charmander and the others, Liu just rested for a while and immediately jumped up and directly pre-ordered a very sumptuous meal through the service phone. Then Liu entered the system world, ready to call Shilinfei and Charmander and the others to come out and have dinner together. Chapter 146, Gym Challenge Appointment. Fei, how is your study going? If you are too tired, take a rest first. Don't worry. I have ordered a luxurious meal outside. Let's go out to eat. As soon as Liu came to the system space, he saw Shilinfei still sitting there quietly, sometimes frowning in thought, sometimes smiling with enlightenment. Walking forward and taking the elf illustrations from Shilinfei's hand, Liu said with concern. It's okay, I like these things very much, I find them very interesting. By the way, how is your training going? Are there any results? Seeing Liu coming, Shilinfei smiled, as if she thought of something, and asked Liu. It's not bad. Let's go, it's getting late, let's go out quickly, I'm hungry. As he said, Liu took Shilinfei's hand and went to the place where Charmander and the others were resting. At this time, they had just finished the medicinal bath and were lying on the grass together to rest. How did you all rest? I've prepared a feast, let's go out to eat. As soon as Liu finished speaking, Charmander and the others immediately jumped up excitedly and then ran to Liu, shouting happily. Roar. Tap. Clang. With a thought, Liu went directly to the outside world with Shilinfei. Then the two walked out of the room together and came to the reserved private room. After asking the waiter to serve the dishes, Liu asked the waiter to leave directly. One reason is that Liu doesn't like the feeling of being served, and the other is the problem of elves. After all, Liu has so many elves, and there are Xiaoshan and Xiaobei, elves from the earth, so it's better not to let others find out. The magic continent does not have animals like chickens, ducks, fish, geese, etc. on the earth. We said before that they all eat fruits from a magical tree. This fruit is actually the meat of the magic continent, and the taste is exactly the same as what Liu eats on the earth. And there are many special fruits on the magic continent. These fruits are not only very delicious, but some of them also have this special ability, like enhancing physical fitness, increasing speed, increasing attack power, etc., etc. Liu Dian's meal is specially prepared for the elves to improve their abilities. Although the increase is very small, it is very effective over time. After a meal, Liu took Charmander back to the system world. After returning to the room, Liu also took Xilinfei into the system world. Continuous training. It has been a long time since I relaxed. So today Liu is not going to do anything. Just stay with the elves quietly. No words all night. Fei, I'm going to challenge the Nabi gym. Do you want to come with me? After breakfast, Liu hurried to go to the Nabi gym. After all, the experience of the last time at the Changpun gym is still fresh in my memory. Because there are too many trainers challenging the gym, you need to make an appointment every day, and it may not be your turn, so it would be strange if Liu is not anxious. Well, let's go together. I haven't seen the gym challenge yet. In case I want to challenge it in the future, I can accumulate experience now. After thinking about it, Xilinfei finally nodded and decided to go to the Nibe gym with Liu. Then let's go now. After leaving the hotel, Liu took Xilinfei on the city car and drove towards the Nibe gym. This city car is also a must for every city. After all, the city is so big that, if you just walk, you can't go to many places, even if you are exhausted. Therefore, the city car specially planned and built by the Alliance only requires a simple brush of the Pokémon picture book and a gold coin to reach any station. The speed of the car is very fast. In just over 10 minutes, Liu and Xilinfei arrived at the door of the Nibe gym. At the same time, many trainers got off the car, which made Liu's mouth twitch. The Nibe gym in front of Liu was very tall and shocking, like a steel castle, and very similar to the style of the gym in Viridian City. Above the gate of Nabi gym, there is a logo made of a rock castle pattern, which gives people a majestic feeling. Walking into Nabi gym, it was just as Liu expected. Although it was only 6 or 7 in the morning, Nabi gym was already surrounded by trainers, all preparing to challenge here. After waiting for a long time, Liu finally made an appointment with the help of the service staff. Although it is the same as in the Changpun gym, you still need to wait for notification, but you can challenge at least before noon. Nabi City is not like Changpun City, which has a famous game base. There is nothing very famous here. The only famous thing may be the museum here. The museum located in the northwest of Nabi City can be said to be the most famous attraction in Nabi City. It mainly exhibits some historical relics, including fossils and space shuttles. Although you need to buy a ticket every time you enter, for those who love ancient culture, 50 gold coins are nothing. There is also another place that does not belong to Nabi City, but is right next to Nabi City, and it is still a very famous place. That is Yujian Mountain. Yujian Mountain does not refer to a mountain, but to a chain of mountains. It's just that at the foot of one of the mountains, there is a place called Rainbow Lake. Therefore, this most representative mountain is called Yujian Mountain. Over time, it has become a common saying, because there are many elves living here, including some very rare elves with special abilities. So every year, many trainers come to this place specifically to try their luck and see if they can capture powerful elves. And Rainbow Lake holds a fishing competition every year. The fish here refer to those water elves that live in the water. Rainbow Lake is said to be connected to the endless sea through groundwater, and there are many very rare elves living in it. And this has also been confirmed, that is, during the fishing competition, some elves that originally lived in the ocean were caught. The fishing competition here in Rainbow Lake is not actually fishing with fish hooks, but with a special boom without hooks, and the bait is also configured by the trainers themselves. First, the trainers tie the configured bait to the rope and throw it into the lake. Those elves eat your bait, and if they are very satisfied, they will come ashore to ask you for more food. Then even if you successfully catch a fish, you will successfully get game points. When the competition is over, the organizer will rank you according to the points you have earned. The top few in the competition will receive a special championship reward prepared by the organizer. Sometimes the reward is very generous, and sometimes it is just an ordinary item. Of course, those who participate in the competition are not here for the reward, but just to enjoy the feeling of fishing. And when the food they make is warmly welcomed by the elves, it can be regarded as recognition from others, and they will feel extremely satisfied. Chapter 147 Nabi Gym Battle 1 Subscription Request. In this gym battle, the challenger is Liu from King Mu Town, and the challenger is Mr. Minkan from Nabi Gym. The format of this game is 4 vs 4. Each person can use 4 Pokémons, and the challenger can change Pokémons in the middle of the game. When all 4 Pokémons of one side lose their combat effectiveness, the other side wins. This game officially begins. Please release your Pokémons. After the referee in the center of the field said this, he retreated directly to the outside of the field and stood there quietly, ready to observe the fairness of the game. These referees are specially trained by the Alliance to test the fairness of each battle and make sure that every battle is fair and just. Let's start. My first Pokémon is him. Without any delay, Liu directly released the first Pokémon he chose. As soon as Zoroark appeared, the Pokémon's ghostly appearance was very likable, and it didn't look like he was here to fight. Swish. Minkan also threw out a Pokéball, and then a very familiar Pokémon appeared in front of everyone. Punch. This Pokémon is Geodude. The last time Liu fought Geodude in Viridian City, he still remembers it vividly. The Geodude in front of Liu is also very powerful, but the area of expertise is different from that Geodude. Name: Geodude attributes: Rock plus Ground qualification, Gold level, Bronze level 16 features: Sturdy, increases defense, ability, talented skills, endurance, improves its own defense, and has a certain chance to resist fatal attacks. The rest are not enabled. Learning skills: Playing in the mud plus rolling plus shooting down plus magnitude plus digging holes. This is what Geodude is better at, which is a flexible dodge. In addition, in terms of defense, because of the existence of the talent of endurance, it can last longer in battle. In terms of skill attacks, the 3 attack skills of rolling, shooting down, and magnitude are also very powerful. It can be said that this Geodude is absolutely both offensive and defensive, and is by no means so easy to deal with. Zoroark, Claw Attack. Although Zoroark currently has no powerful attack skills, Liu believes that with Zoroark's agility, he can definitely defeat Geodude. Swish. Zoroark's figure quickly disappeared and rushed towards Geodude. Geodude also curled up into a stone ball under Minkan's command, and also rolled at high speed to hit Zoroark. Swish, swish, swish. After dodging Geodude's rolling impact, Zoroark turned around and swung his claws, grabbing Geodude's body directly. Kai. However, Zoroark's attack did not seem to work, leaving many shallow scratches on Geodude's body. Zoroark continued to use Chase. Although the effect was minimal, Liu believed that in the stalemate, no one could attack anyone, and Zoroark would definitely win in the end. And Zoroark is not without the opportunity to win by relying on his strength. Because Zoroark has a talent skill of ever changing. Gathering the dark energy on his claws, Zoroark quickly approached Geodude and attacked like a ghost claw, grabbing Geodude directly. Geodude, dig a hole. Just when Zoroark's attack was about to hit, Geodude followed Minkan's command and disappeared underground. Zoroark, watch your step. Be careful to dodge. Liu was helpless about this method of digging holes, because without the corresponding skills, it was difficult to deal with this sudden attack from underground. Shoot it down. Swish. As Minkan's figure just ended, a hole suddenly appeared on the ground. Geodude suddenly popped out of it, and then quickly condensed a stone cannonball, and shot it towards Zoroark. Be careful. Without waiting for Liu's command, Zoroark quickly jumped up, trying to dodge the boulder shooting. Bang. But the boulder, which was as fast as a bullet, still brushed Zoroark's body. Zoroark, false accusation. In order to completely solve the problem, Liu directly ordered Zoroark to use false accusation, which would make Geodude temporarily forget to use the dig skill. Because false accusation can only make the opponent temporarily lose the skills that have been used. So Liu had to wait until Geodude used dig before Zoroark could act. And now, Geodude got out of the hole directly because his attack hit Zoroark and wanted to take advantage of the victory. This was a good opportunity for Zoroa to counterattack. Fist. Magnitude. False accusation. The attacks from both sides were launched at the same time, but Zoroa's attack was one step ahead. The invisible energy acted directly on Geodude and instantly surged into his brain. Woo woo. The sudden feeling of amnesia caused Geodude's magnitude attack, which was originally condensing, to stagnate and dissipate directly. Very good, Zoroa. Seize this opportunity. Ever-changing. Shootdown. Geodude fell into a brief confusion, and Liu naturally couldn't miss this opportunity, so he directly ordered Zoroa. Every time he saw Zoroark transform, Liu was very envious. After all, this ability to change into other forms at will was really amazing. Punch. Shootdown. Zoroark, who turned into Geodude, gathered energy in his body, and then condensed into a rock cannonball, and attacked Geodude with a bang. Geodude, roll. Because the speed of the rock cannonball was very fast, it could only be blocked by the rolling skill. Because the activation speed of other skills was too slow, it was not in time. Boom boom. The rock cannonball collided with Geodude, and with a bang, the rock cannonball was directly shattered. Geodude was also shaken away, and fell to the ground. Geodude, hold on, use magnitude. Seeing that he was about to be defeated directly, Minkan hurriedly commanded Geodude to make a final counterattack. Otherwise, Geodude would definitely lose if this continued. Punch. Magnitude. The magnitude skill was also a bug-like existence, because the power of this skill was completely random. The skill magnitude may directly trigger a devastating attack, although the probability is very low, and of course it is possible that it will only stir up a trace of dust. However, it is precisely the existence of this abnormal skill that makes the battle full of surprises and unknowns. This also tests the trainer's mentality of preparing for battle. Zoroa, let's do it too. Magnitude. Although Geodude has a special magnitude skill, Zoroa's ability is even more abnormal. The 1000 changes not only allows Zoroa to transform into the appearance of the Pokémon in front of him, but also allows him to use the opponent's skills. In battle, the 1000 changes talent skill is definitely a very helpful ability. Just like now, if Zoroa counterattacks as his original body, he will definitely not have enough strength. On the contrary, if he turns into Geodude to counterattack, the powerful skills he possesses will definitely be able to successfully resist Geodude's counterattack. Fist. Magnitude. Geodude. Fist. Magnitude. Zoroa. The same attack was launched at the same time, and then the originally calm field was seen in an instant. Chapter 148 Nabi Gym Battle 2. Subscription request. The same attack was launched at the same time, and then the originally peaceful field suddenly rumbled. It was as if an earthquake had come, making everyone unable to stand. Boom 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 boom. With the rumbling sound like an earthquake, cracks appeared on the field. The shock waves brought by the shaking of the earth continuously attacked Zoroark and Geodude. Fist punch. Geodude was exhausted, and finally lost his fighting power. Very good, Zoroark. Well done. With a sigh of praise, Liu and Minkan took back their Pokémon at the same time. Just as the two of them chose the next Pokémon at the same time, the field full of cracks also recovered. Because of the damage caused by the double magnitude just now, the field became like a disaster scene. It was difficult for ordinary Pokémon to fight on it, so it needed to be restored to a state where it could fight. Regardless of whether it was a gym or a trainer guild field, they would automatically return to normal. Otherwise, after a battle, the ground was bumpy, so how could the next battle be carried out? Come out, Scyther. It's up to you. At the same time, Liu and Minkan's second Pokémon appeared on the field together. Liu's Pokémon is a newly evolved Scyther, while Minkan's Pokémon is a golden Pokémon with hair all over its body, as if struck by lightning. This Pokémon is one of the evolved forms of Eevee, Raikkonen. As one of the many evolved forms of Eevee, Raikkonen can be said to be a very powerful one, and its strength is definitely not so easy to deal with. And most importantly, the attributes of this Raikkonen are also very strange and very abnormal, because name, Raikkonen attributes, electricity qualification, diamond level, bronze level 16 features, power storage, recovers its own physical strength after being attacked by the electric system. Ability, talented skills, loud voice. Every time you attack, the power will be increased. The rest are not enabled. Learning skills, impact plus electric shock plus lightning flash plus continuous kick plus 100,000 volts loud voice. This talent skill seems to be nothing just by the name. But when Liu saw the effect description of this skill, there was only one sentence in his mind. It's just a super abnormality. How can other Pokémon survive with this? Shouting silently in his heart, Liu was simply helpless and painful. Every time he encounters this kind of Pokémon with special abilities, Liu doesn't know what to say. Let's start. Vacuum Wave. Liu didn't feel familiar with the gym leader in front of him, so he didn't communicate too much, just commanded by himself. Vacuum Wave. Gather energy on the fist and send out energy bullets to attack. This is a new skill that Scyther has learned after a lot of energy training. Thunder Spirit, Lightning Flash, Electric Shock. Minkun naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for death, and hurriedly ordered the Thunder Spirit to move quickly, dodge the Vacuum Wave skill, and launch a skill to counterattack. Boom. Scyther, like Thunder Spirit, is a Pokémon that is very good at speed, and both are highly agile Pokémon. With its agile body, Scyther easily dodges the lightning beam. The surging lightning attack on the field directly burned the ground to a scorch. Spy Mantis, Blade Attack. Spy Mantis's green figure finally rushed behind the Thunder Elf, and then directly according to Liu's command, swung its sharp giant blade, and cut towards the Thunder Elf. Sure. Unfortunately, the Thunder Elf is also an agile elf, so it will not be hit so easily. The Lightning Flash skill was released, and it disappeared instantly like a residual image. Buzz. Boom boom boom. The two elves kept fighting, and their skills kept colliding on the field. The two elves were very tacit, using Lightning Flash to avoid each other's attacks. Spy Mantis's Blade Attack, Thunder Elf's Electric Shock, 100,000 volts. The signature skills of both sides were constantly used. The whole field was like fireworks, with lightning flashing and figures flashing. The dazzling light and the constantly changing figures dazzled the people around. Scyther, charge forward, lightning. Physical strength is constantly depleting, and there is little energy left. If it drags on, it will not be good for both sides, so a quick battle must be fought. Thunder Elf, be careful to dodge, Electric Shock. Minkun, who also realized this, also wisely chose the attack skill. He did not choose the high cost range skill 100,000 volts, but chose the Electric Shock, which consumes less energy in comparison. Sure. The figure flashed quickly, dodging the Electric Shock attack, and at the same time, the Vacuum Wave in his hand continued to shoot, affecting the dodge route of the Thunder Elf. Very good, Scyther, use the sharp blade to attack. Finally, Liu barely managed to get close to the Thunder Elf and shouted, fearing to miss this opportunity. Humph. Thunder Elf, continuous kick. With a cold snort, Minkun was also unwilling to be outdone, and commanded the Thunder Elf to use close combat skills. Bang bang bang. The two sides finally started close combat this time, and Scyther's sharp blade was seen waving continuously, to cut towards the Thunder Elf. The Thunder Elf used its legs to kick away Scythe's sharp blade, and at the same time, its powerful legs kicked at Scythe's weak abdomen. The two elves fought back and forth, and although they had little energy left, they still had some physical strength left. Therefore, neither side showed signs of fatigue in the collision. Buzz. The attacks collided again, but this time Scythe did not choose to retreat, but directly condensed a Vacuum Wave and instantly attacked the Thunder Elf. Boom. Because the distance was very close, the Thunder Elf had no time to react, and instantly took the move, and was directly knocked to the ground. Sure. Although Scythe seemed to be unable to cope with the overdraft of energy, he still tried to persist in order to win, and rushed to the side of the Thunder Elf, and launched a sharp blade attack again. Woo. The result did not disappoint Scythe, and finally the Thunder Elf lost its fighting power and completely fainted on the field. Spy Mantis. Seeing Spy Mantis exhaling and looking very tired, Liu was very happy for the victory, and was also very moved. But Liu still didn't say anything, because no matter how much he said, it would not be as convincing as a final victory. Come back. He clenched his fists, his eyes full of determination, which was not only to thank Angela for his efforts, but also to cheer himself up and strive to make a last-ditch effort and not let them down. Come back. You've worked hard, Thunder Elf. Minkun frowned, as if he was very dissatisfied with the result, but he didn't say anything, just remained silent. From this point, it can also be seen that Minkun's mentality was not completely stable during the battle, and he was easily affected by the external situation. Chapter 149 Nabi Gym Battle 3 Subscription Request. As an external recruit of Naib Gym, Minkun's current trainer level is only advanced, so he has not yet developed the attitude of master who is calm in the face of adversity. By the way, when a trainer challenges a gym, the gym will select examiners of different levels, based on the trainer's previous record, to fight with the trainer. Just like Li Yu, because in the last gym battle, he defeated Sakaki Wanghao of Tokiwa Gym. Although Sakaki Wanghao did not use all his strength, Li Yu's victory is very worthy of pride. Therefore, when Li Yu came to challenge Naib Gym, the examiner assigned to him was Minkun, a senior trainer. If other junior trainers came to challenge Naib Gym, at most they would send an examiner of the same level to deal with it. After all, they are just junior trainers, and are not worthy of Naib Gym's attention. It was Li Yu who was so valued by Naib Gym, because of his identity and excellent record. Without saying too much, the battle began again. This time, the Pokémons of both sides happened to be water Pokémons. And they are all initial elves, but they belong to different regions. Needless to say, Li Yu's elves must be water otter, and Minkun's elves are also very powerful. It is the initial elves of the Kanto region. Squirtle's evolved form, Squirtle. Name, Squirtle attributes, water qualification, gold level, bronze level 16, 14% features, rainy day, automatically restore physical strength when it rains, ability, talent skill. Fresh, automatically weaken any abnormal state, and a certain probability of direct immunity. The rest are not enabled. Learning skills, bite plus tile break plus bubble plus water gun plus hail. The evolved Squirtle has begun to show its ferocity. Although it does not have the strong momentum of Water Blastoise, it has at least gotten rid of Squirtle's cute influence, and is moving towards a road of strength. When Li Yu saw Squirtle appearing on the field, he was envious and jealous. After all, Li Yu's water otter, although it has reached level 16, is still one step away from evolution. And the fresh talent is especially abnormal, it can weaken abnormal status and even be immune. In this regard, Li Yu said that his worldview has collapsed. What is going on in this world? Why do you encounter so many elves with special talents and skills in one day? But even so, Li Yu still firmly believes that Water Otter can definitely defeat Squirtle, not only because Water Otter is his elf. Although Water Otter has not evolved, with its mutated characteristics and the bonus brought by the Super Hidden Dragon attribute, it is enough to compete with Squirtle. Water Otter, use the Dragon Scale Blade. Squirtle, split the tiles. Li Yu and Minkun issued the orders at the same time, and then saw the figures of Water Otter and Squirtle rushing forward at the same time. Bang bang bang. The attacks of the two elves collided with each other without any dodge. The energy blade of Water Otter and the sharp claws of Squirtle kept counteracting each other, making a sound of metal collision. Tap. Water gun. Kami. Water gun. Both are water type elves, and they fired water type skills at the same time. Two water columns collided in mid-air, splashing water all over the sky. The water splashed so much that the scene on the field was obscured by the water vapor, making it difficult to see clearly. The Water Otter had no worries and directly waved the Dragon Scale Blade and rushed to the place where the Card Turtle was before. The Card Turtle naturally would not sit and wait for death. It also waved its sharp claws and fought with the Water Otter. Bang! After another collision, the two elves stood face to face. They looked at each other with vigilance, ready to attack again at any time. Kami Turtle, hail. The battle entered a tense state. Minkun suddenly ordered the Card Turtle to use hail. I don't know what he was thinking. Water Otter, interrupt him with water gun. Just as the Card Turtle condensed hail to attack according to Minkun's instructions, Li Yu also hurriedly shouted at the Water Otter. Tap. Water gun. The water column quickly gathered and shot at the card turtle, but it was still a step slower and failed to block the activation of the card turtle's hail skill. Bang, buzz, ha, crackle. Although the water gun bombarded Squirtle, the hailstones the size of steel balls immediately followed, like flowers scattered by a fairy, and enveloped Water Otter. Be careful, Water Otter, make a quick decision. Dragon Scale Blade. The hailstones have already started, and since they cannot be stopped, they can only quickly get rid of Squirtle before they suffer more attacks. Moreover, because Squirtle uses hailstones, a high cost skill, and was directly hit by Water Otter's water gun just now, his physical strength is definitely not much left. Tap. Water Otter roared, braved the hailstones falling from the sky, and rushed towards Squirtle waving the dragon scale blade. Squirtle, water gun, stop him. As long as time is delayed, Water Otter will definitely be defeated by the hailstones, so Minkan directly ordered. Boom boom boom. Hearing this, Squirtle kept using the water gun to try to stop Water Otter from moving forward. But every time the water gun bombarded, although it was fierce, it was dodged by the Water Otter. Sure. Finally close to the side of Squirtle, the dragon scale blade of the Water Otter cut on the shell of Squirtle, leaving a deep cut. Squirtle, shrink your shell and hit. Minkan saw that he could not avoid the attack, so he simply counterattacked directly. Kami. Squirtle directly shrank into the shell and then spun his whole body to hit the Water Otter, just like a Hot Wheel. Humph. Use hit. Seeing that the opponent still wanted to continue struggling, Liu snorted coldly, but did not continue to use the dragon scale blade to attack. Because since the last time he used it, Liu felt that the attack power was too strong, and it was easy to cause serious injuries to the opponent. So Liu also ordered the Water Otter to use hit to fight back. Bang. The two elves collided with each other, and then the figures retreated at the same time. Woo woo woo. After a fierce battle, Squirtle finally lost his fighting power due to exhaustion and injuries. The Water Otter was very happy to see his victory, but before he could be happy for 3 seconds, he also lost his fighting power and fell to the ground due to the continuous hail attack. Liu felt very bad about this battle and felt a bit restrained. Liu felt that his training of the skills of the elves was still not enough. In the previous nearly 1 month of training, Charmander and the others mainly focused on physical training. As a result, they lacked the training of their skills, so they felt that they were at a loss for skills during the battle. While secretly deciding to add training in this area after returning, Liu's last elf also appeared on the field. Chapter 150 Nightmare Space. Subscription request. Jira. That's right, Liu's last Pokémon is Brahmi. Among all of Liu's Pokémon, apart from Roaring Sky and Mewtwo, the most powerful one is Brahmi. So this time, Liu did not let Charmander appear. After all, the Nabijam is good at using ground type Pokémon. If Charmander is used in the battle, it will be completely restrained, and its strength cannot be fully exerted. So Liu finally decided to let Brahmi appear. And Minkan's last Pokémon, as expected, did not surprise Liu. It was a rock type and ground type Pokémon, Onix. Name, Onix attributes, rock type plus ground qualification, legendary level, bronze rank 17 features, armor break, after being physically attacked, defense is reduced, but speed will increase, ability, talented skill, iron tail, use a hard tail to sweep the opponent. The rest are not activated. Learning skills, hold plus earthquake plus rock seal plus rage plus deadly bind. The tall body of nearly 10 meters, the huge cold eyes, and the ferocious appearance are daunting. As soon as Onix appeared on the field, it gave people a strong sense of oppression. Yo. Onix roared to the sky, and the sound seemed to be able to penetrate the space and hit the depths of people's hearts. It made Angela, who had just appeared, and Liu, who was standing beside him, both have a brief moment of shock. Angela, phantom attack. When he saw Onix appear, Liu felt that this battle was definitely not so easy to deal with. But now that things have come to this, Liu can only go all out and strive for the final victory with the greatest effort. And Liu also believes in Angela very much and will definitely not let him down. Onix, hold on, rock seal. Minkan was naturally unwilling to be outdone and also commanded Onix to counterattack. Buzz. Boom. The hazy phantom attack instantly bombarded Onyx's shield, but it was easily resisted. Yay. Rocks are closing. With Onyx's roar, countless round boulders suddenly fell from the sky, burying Yangela underneath. Very good, Onyx. Earthquake. Seeing that the attack worked, Minkun quickly ordered Onyx to pursue the victory. Yay. The battlefield, which had become like a disaster scene because of the earthquake skill, rumbled again, and the ground shook. The place buried by the rolling rocks also collapsed instantly, but upon closer inspection, there was no trace of Yangela. What? There was no. Minkun looked at the collapsed pit in astonishment, and was obviously very puzzled by Yangela's sudden disappearance. Because if Yangela teleported to escape the attack, why couldn't he be seen for so long? Onyx, be careful around you. No matter what, it's always better to be careful, and Minkun quickly told Onyx to be careful. HMPH. It's time to act, Yangela. With the corners of his mouth slightly raised, Liu said a piece of inexplicable words. But as soon as Liu finished speaking, the calm space suddenly fluctuated, and then a space crack suddenly appeared at the location of Onyx. Sure. Onyx, who had no time to react, was swallowed by the crack and disappeared. What? Seeing Onyx suddenly disappear, Minkun was shocked, and didn't know what was going on. HMM. Yangela, hurry up, nightmare, phantom attack. Although there were no elves on the field, Liu was very calm, and commanded as usual, as if he could see the elves. However, if you look from Liu's perspective, you will see that there is a nightmare space in the space layer on the battlefield. That's right, this is the auxiliary ability brought by Yangela's characteristics. Since Liu knew Yangela's characteristics, he began to cultivate his control of nightmare space. After such a long period of training, although he has not yet completely mastered the nightmare space, with the experience of successfully mastering the wonderful space, he can still successfully establish the nightmare space. Although the stability of the space is very poor, and the binding ability for the elves is not that strong, it is easy to break free, but it is not something that can be done in a short time. And this period of time is what Liu wants, a perfect opportunity for Yangela to fight back with all his strength and strive for victory. And there is no need to worry about Onyx's counterattack, because Onyx can't find the target to attack at all. There is such a ability. This. Minkun was shocked to hear Liu's words, but he couldn't think of a way to fight back, so he could only shout anxiously at the empty venue. In the nightmare space, Yangela was constantly sending out phantom attacks, and the target was Onyx in the empty nightmare space. Roar. Helplessly injured the sudden attack, but couldn't fight back at all, because Onyx couldn't find Yangela's position at all. With an angry roar, Onyx launched a frantic attack, but the surrounding space seemed to have no reaction, and Onyx's attack did not work at all. However, with Onyx's attack, the nightmare space was like a bubble, constantly twisting and shaking, as if it was about to be broken. However, Onyx, who was deep in the nightmare space, did not notice these things. He just kept attacking, trying to escape from this strange place. Jira. Telekinesis. The huge gravity pressed on Onyx. Although Onyx's defense was very strong, Yangela's current telekinesis was also very strong. Before Yangela evolved, his mental power was very strong, and now because of his evolution, his mental power has increased again. Therefore, with Yangela's current mental power, it is definitely far superior to the elves of the same level, so even if he is dealing with Onyx, whose defense is also strong, he still has spare power. Boom boom boom. Finally, the nightmare space was broken by Onyx's continuous attacks due to its instability. Roar. Onyx, who appeared in the outside world again, roared with excitement and anger, and then looked around covetously, searching for Yangela's figure with his cold eyes. Jira. Phantom attack. The attack bombarded Onyx again. Onyx, which had been attacked continuously, no longer had the same momentum as before. Onyx finally came out, lethal binding. Minkun breathed a sigh of relief after finally seeing Onyx again, and quickly gave orders loudly. Swish. After being attacked continuously by a large number of people, although Onyx's physical strength was severely depleted, its speed continued to increase, and it was already very fast at this time. Boom boom boom. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like, Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.